Move your phone.
James Gunn loves to talk. But thankfully, this week, he actually said some stuff that's really interesting. So we have tons, I repeat, tons of DCEU. Do we have a name for it? DC Studios, movies, TV, film, redundancy, news to talk about, and updates from James Gunn and Peter Safran himself. But we're here with two of the pals. We're missing one.
Oh, interesting. And I'm noticing it's not the usual characters that are missing.
No. It's weird that I have to talk. But I'm here with Cale.
What's up, hot dogs?
I'm here with Marco.
What's up, kitty cats?
And Sean is on leave in Toronto, Canada. So
Finish it.
That's all.
No, finish it.
And we're a group of what was it again?
No, finish it. And I'm Tyler.
Oh, I didn't even talk about myself. This is how out of practice I am. Hi, I'm Tyler. My name's right down there. You can see me.
That'll work.
That'll
work.
Hi guys. Good morning, listeners. I see a lot of people in chat already. We got Izzy here. We got Electrix, Rami, James Jones, Atomic Hound. Atomic Hound #1 on the call sheet there.
No,
on the call sheet.
Owl Shogunate here. Atomic Baby, Steve Canaris, Red Spiral, Fish Face Pete. That's a new one. I don't recognize that name. I dig it.
Is SS Fish the same fish face on Discord? No.
That would probably track. Yeah. We got Catherine, Shop Harder, and Hecatron, James, Pete, everyone. Pete, yes, Sean is at Elimination Chamber. He will be wrestling tonight. He had to take over CM Punk's spot,
Wow.
so he'll be in the cage.
Yeah.
You know, they say when you don't have dairy like the way he can't,
Yeah.
you become like a muscle freak. And
I was under the assumption that dairy builds strong bones, so I assumed by the inverse property,
it's
Sean had brittle bones.
It's the other way around. It's government propaganda.
Typical. RFK save us. All right, guys, let's talk about some movies, some film. Of course, I'm hosting the show when we're talking about movies and stuff like that, because if you follow our Patreon, I do be like watching the movies.
Do
We're going to talk about things like the mise en scène.
Oh, the mise en scène. We'll be talking about canted angles in the history of Zack Snyder DC movies. No, we're talking about what James Gunn has been yapping about all week. So Deadline, or Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, put out some really interesting articles this week regarding DC Studios that had some pretty interesting information that I've kind of honed in on and picked out individual things here and there that I thought we could probably talk about. So James Gunn and Peter Safran, kind of the yin and yang of the new DC Studios right now. James Gunn kind of spearheading a lot of the creative side of things. Peter Safran, the producer, money guy. But they like to kind of tag team and talk about the DC Studios properties, especially with, the trailer for Superman that just came out. Creature Commandos just finished about a month ago. So they're doing a bit of a check-in now. So Boris Kitt was able to talk to them. And they kind of talked about a couple things here. They actually planned on, they talked about their plans for a given year of DC Studios going forward. With Marvel and the MCU, we were used to a pretty big deluge of content, especially with like Disney Plus, with the movies, where I think we were overwhelmed. And I think we're getting to that point again with the MCU, with how big this year is. This seems like we're going back to pre-pandemic in terms of the amount of movies, and they're still doing TV shows at the same time. But James Gunn, what's up?
They are?
What do you mean?
There are still Marvel TV shows coming out?
Daredevil comes out next week.
Yeah, dude.
What does?
Daredevil.
Born Again.
Whoa.
He's blind, not deaf. You didn't hear that? So
What?
this would have killed for Echo when that came out. So James Gunn said that DC Studios has a plan and a goal for the company to make 2 live-action films and 1 animated movie per year, while also producing 2 live-action and 2 animated series for Max per year. So we're looking at 2 live-action movies, 1 animated movie, 2 live-action shows, 1 animated show. Or reverse that. 2 live-action shows and 2 animated shows per Max. Is that too much out the gate?
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah. Too much. I got rid of Max, just like last month. So like, no, like slow roll this stuff. Like I get that there's a lot of momentum and heat, but there's such a separation between the comics and the movie TV stuff that I think for me the previous DC FU needs to like slow roll its way and it needs to earn my trust, and by bombarding me with things, I don't think that's the right course of action.
But we've already had Creature Commandos. Um, and then by the time all this comes out, we'll have Superman.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been just a little bit more too.
I mean, we just got our first look at Lanterns, which I think is next year at this point,
Yeah,
2026.
okay. So surely that's that's not a lot at first. Like it's a slow roll
Yeah.
for the first year.
It's about half of what they're saying they want to be their steady
quarter.
flow once the
quarter.
faucet's fully turned on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then so there is a bit of a build up to this. Here's the thing. I'm excited for 2 live action films and 1 animated a year. I think the film side of things, that makes sense to me. I think Marvel did too much at certain points during like the height of the MCU, where it's like, what do we have, like 3 a year? We're getting 3 this year.
Yeah.
And even this year, we're getting one in March, another one in May, another one in July, and then like all of the holiday season is just dead for them. I think if they span these out, maybe make the animated one towards the holiday season, have the big blockbuster during the summer, and then maybe try to capture a live action movie in that like early part of the year where like things are a little slow in the box office, that they can maybe help spread that out. I'm not against that. I think that actually works.
I'm not a fan of the animated movies. I feel like
Because you don't like Joy.
well,
No, that's me.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
right. I've never been a fan of the art style, the animation style. Like that's always been the biggest blocker for me. And
Yeah.
to be fair, I have yet to watch Creature Commandos specifically because of the animation style. Like
But after Bruce Timm, like the quality, the animation quality, like took a nosedive.
it's just different. It feels static. It
Yeah.
feels clunky, and it works for people. It's not for me, but I'm glad that there are people because I hear all the time, oh, the DC animated movies from people who are comics adjacent, are great, and so I'm used to a different flavor of that with anime and with all that kind of stuff. So like for me, I can understand why you start with even an animated movie at that level to help not compensate but to complement the live action movies.
I'll tackle your comment in a bit, Marco, because I have some thoughts on that. But I wanted to shout out Matt Fisher with his tithings here for $4.99. Good morning, Marco's
Lemon.
Jazz Trio. What's up,
Hey,
hot
let's
dogs and
go.
cats? Look, I know you have an agenda, but is there anything anyone can do to save ASM?
Uh, you have the answer right there. Marco's Jazz Trio will be performing in New York City live.
That's just Fancy Dan and the boys. Let's be real.
Spider-Man will be making an amazing appearance.
Well, we're going to be talking comics in a bit. That is on the docket later. So I think we can maybe throw that in there because we are going to be talking about another famous Spider-Man character that might have a new role coming up. Might have been dug out of a shallow grave, apparently.
Hypno Hustler.
I said save it for the rest of the show, Cale.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, burying the lead. Matt Fisher also another 49. He said reshoots are fine. Delaying the first movie in your universe is not. Which it wasn't delayed, was it? Superman? I don't think it was delayed.
No, I don't
No?
think so.
Which I think is fine.
Yeah, I think it's all right. Yeah, at most they've maybe just changed the like date, but not because of delay, right? Like reshuffling of things.
And they're putting it
To
out on
be
Cale's birthday.
There you go.
Happy birthday.
To be honest, I'd rather have a delay that looks good and actually works for the film.
Sure. I'm fine with
know,
delays. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Fisher, let me just get through these Matt Fisher ones here.
Yeah.
Saying another 49. I'm more worried about John Murphy doing the score for Superman than anything else. We'll see.
Was he sick?
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with John Murphy's work.
28 days later.
Okay, that's
28 weeks later, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special,
not too bad, but the score is not memorable in
You gotta
kick
start somewhere here.
it.
kick ass.
Yeah.
All right.
Teenage me probably would have liked that, but like the score is not something that jumps out to me for any of these things.
Mm-mm.
And then Matt Fisher, another 49, says, I don't stream though. I've never seen CC, Creature Commandos. Not everyone's watching TV anymore, and combining things can confuse non TV people in a theater.
If they bring that continuity onto screen, it can create a space for, oh, who are these people? Why do these people have rapport? But I think with good storytelling, you can fix that for on-screen people, and I think there will be. I think there's an understanding that not everybody is watching TV, not everybody is watching streaming channels, and so to be presented at a movie level, you have to reset foundation. That might be repetitive for TV show goers, but will be necessary groundwork for moviegoers.
Do you think having to understand with the amount of content coming out, having to understand continuity is going to be a problem?
In what sense?
I
The,
mean,
the
I
movies are
think
apparently going to have their own continuity going forward, so there's a lot of stuff. Do you have to watch everything to get it?
Hmm.
That's I think the one of the main gripes people have had with Marvel, especially with the TV shows. It's like, well, I don't want to watch Secret Invasion.
well, and I think with the most glaring uh example of that is Multiverse of Madness and Scarlet Witch, the Visions, that TV show to film. Like it directly took a major plot line from a TV show, which was not accessible to everyone, and then it translated it straight to a film that was trapped in development hell and needed something to get it over the finish line, right? Um, so I can definitely see how people would be stressed out about that, given that direct example. Uh, you know, from TV to cinema.
Matt Fisher with a 199 saying this is a 199 super chat. I appreciate you, Matt Fisher. Never apologize. I am a little worried in this respect. Because when people like want to talk about the heyday of Marvel, and they talk about the beginnings up until Avengers, then leading into the reveal of Thanos, and like that was like a movie a year, and even the continuity between it from the get was really just, hey, here's a movie that stands on its own, stinger at the end that bridges things together slightly,
Yeah.
little threads
Yeah.
here and there. This doesn't seem to be starting with threads. This seems like it could be starting with full-on tapestries of connection between things, which is exciting from a continuity standpoint, because like once we got to like Endgame and all that stuff, it was awesome seeing all the things that interconnected, and I think that's what people started to enjoy about the Marvel movies. But if you're doing that from the get, does that overwhelm people immediately? And that's my fear, especially when you're talking about two live action shows a year. Like TV shows are a more time investment than a film is. You're talking what, 8 hours potentially.
Yeah. I don't think it. I think it sets an expectation that the moment that expectation is broken moving forward, it is perceived as bad. If a movie based on like the, let's say, the depth to which Superman interacts with creature commandos, or the way that that interacts with Swamp Thing is strong, let's say, right? Let's just throw out whatever movies. The moment that it does not do that or wants to be standalone, I think it will get flack for that. And so I think the concern for me is less so um, them being able to maintain the level of, or like the depth, starting at the depth of interconnectivity, but rather like how do you communicate that maybe not everything needs to exist in the continuity. It can be loose. The connections can have can be variable.
Red Spiral says, is Sean wrestling Mr. Miracle tonight to win the love of Big Barda, special referee Oberon? I feel like if you gave Sean the Mercy plant, that's what he'd be seeing.
Well, he's
Oh,
going to.
the one Mongol uses on
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Superman. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's trying to go up the Tower of Death right now, so he has to fight first Black Canary.
Is this a Mortal
make his
Kombat
way
reference?
through that. Um,
Or do you
Bruce
know what
Lee?
you're referencing?
Bruce Lee?
Oh, is it Bruce Lee? All right. Well, there's a blind spot for me.
Oh,
Thanks, Spiral. Yeah. So one other thing here. So let's add a little more wrinkle to let's wrinkle up this DCU stuff. So this is a quote from James Gunn himself. He said, "We are writer driven," declared Gunn. "We are not going to greenlight or put anything into production until we are happy with the script. It is hard enough making a good movie with the good script. It's almost impossible to make a movie with a script that you're writing on the run." So, in the same way that he announced this, he pretty much said, like, hey, things are fluid. Not everything's set in stone, that they have to pretty much land a release date and put this out there to get the rest of the slate going. I'll use an example here. He used Clayface as an example. He said, we had no plans making a Clayface movie. Even after Mike Flanagan pitched what they felt was a great idea, there was still a wait and see attitude. And then James Gunn said, he turned in a script, and it's one of the best scripts we've read, so they put it into production. Do you prefer that kind of creator-led approach rather than like Captain America: Brave New World? That almost felt like it went through reshoots because it has to be in this spot to let the rest of the line go forward.
It gives me confidence because it lets me know that there's quality testing.
mm,
It's even if there are reshoots, even if there are, issues down the line, it has a firm foundation that conceivably uh doesn't need to be reworked, you know, late in the process. And that I think is the sign of a very strong foundation.
I like that you said creator led, because that to me sounds like a comparison, not directly, but to the idea that um, DC right now feels creator led, right? And so,
Yeah.
You're
if
talking
from a writing,
comics.
the comics, right?
Okay.
The comics. If from a writing perspective, the company Warner Brothers, either on the DC and film end, is coming from the approach of let us lead with creators, let us lead with story. We're learning. This is a lesson learned from previous iterations of the DCU and from the origins of these storytelling places, then um, that does fill me with more confidence, because it is coming from a place of story first, and then we think about how this fits in the universe. And that to me means that I'd rather the story work than it have to be shoehorned into continuity, because the continuity can be flexible.
I think of previous DCEU, so like Snyderverse stuff. And post Man of Steel, DC really tried reheating Marvel's nachos, as the youth says, where they were like, okay, well, we got something here. Let's try to retrofit and go back and reintroduce all these characters to then make our own universe. That didn't work. It worked for Marvel because I think they planned it from the start, and they had the time, and a lot of those characters weren't in film before, so they had a bit of a blank slate to work with. I like this rubber banding approach that James Gunn seems to be going through here. I think it is distinctly different than what Feige is doing at Marvel. That is exactly the opposite, honestly. That is clearly money business driven, and it's worked for them in certain aspects. You know, the fact that they have to put out all these different movies and line things up properly, sometimes get new directors on it because it just needs to be out there to get the rest of their slate going. It's worked for them. I think we're seeing that rubber band on their side kind of wear, and we're seeing the cracks in the foundation there. But I like how James Gunn's just like, no, we're going to put out movies because it's got a good pitch, it's got a good vision, and then we'll figure out where it sits.
Well, no, that's not what Gunn's saying. Gunn saying, okay, that's a decent pitch. Now make a script.
Sure, yeah, but they're at least saying that the creative aspect of it is what is driving them, rather than like, oh, we need a Clayface movie to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
But I only say that very specifically because Gunn very specifically points out Flanagan had a good pitch, but we wanted him to make the script. We want not just a good pitch, we want an entire project that has, again, a firm foundation.
and I'm going to break that down a bit because there's been some updates later on that Deadline had with some of the other previously announced stuff that I want to just like fill you in, because some of those did not have good scripts. But I like this because even in Creature Commando, spoiler alert, Clayface shows up in that series. So you can tell, I guess, they didn't have plans for a Clayface movie because he does something in that. But the good thing about Clayface is that there's 50 of them, so they can do whatever.
He's malleable, as it were.
And then the creative aspect for this too actually makes me excited about these movies.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
I'm not excited about a Clayface movie. I'm excited about a Mike Flanagan led movie that is a horror movie set in Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like the Clayface of it all is the least exciting part
Happens
of
to
it.
have Clayface.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just happens to be in James Gunn's DC universe. I like that. I think that is different enough than what we've been used to with the Snyderverse, and different enough than what we've been used to in the Marvel MCU, that it is at least refreshing. And
I think that's going to be the take that carries it forward, at least stronger than Marvel at the moment.
In the
please.
short term.
But I mean, only looking at the short term.
Sure.
Long term, he's and Sean's not here, so I'm going to say it. Fuck it. The superhero bubble could pop.
I mean, it could, and that's why things like Sergeant Rock by Luca Guadagnino was also
that's good.
greenlit.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So I think like making these, truly creative visions, truly genre projects put forward by people with a strong story will at least fuel it for the long term, the short term, at least until eventually we all get tired of them.
Sure. My only, not gripe, but I guess reservation for this would be that if it's so loosey goosey, because it does feel a little loosey goosey here. Like, hey, you got a good script, cool. Clayface movie time. Does that make building the universe and any kind of coherent through property storyline, does that make it tricky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to imagine.
That was gonna be my point on, like, if this becomes a Mike Flanagan Clayface that happens to be in the James Gunn DCU, in the same way that, let's say, I know it's not in it, but let's say it was Todd Phillips Joker who would happen to be in the James Gunn's DCU, like that becomes my worry, is do we get so far away that it becomes, oh, this is a product that is created by created by a director, a writer, and not necessarily trying to fit the mold because they have so much room. Like, at what point does James Gunn or the powers that be at Warner Brothers crack the whip and say, "Hey, hold on a second, this needs to fit some kind of shape,
I
Especially
mean,
hard with Clayface.
a bat shape."
well, to be honest, like I expect that I give it 5 years, no matter what, because like think about the number of stories that we've covered on the show in our, even in just the span that Tyler has been here. Like the amount of whip cracking and chair shuffling that DC has done over the years is nuts, and it could happen at any moment with little to no warning.
I mean, you're talking about, within 5 years. They did say they have a 6-year plan. So they have a loose
6.5
6
years.
Yeah. Gunn,
Wait,
they
Tyler,
did say. Go ahead.
sorry, but before you go into that, I think the other thing to call out there is the fact that they have a 6-year plan. To me, is confidence in, okay, we know that this, at the very least, ladders up to something. To Kale's point, I think the divergence starts to happen after that 6 year plan. If they don't come back to us and say, "Hey, here's the next 6 years. Hey, here's the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is," and so that at that point, that's where I start to get worried, where it becomes, uh, what's an equivalent to Madam Web? I don't know, freaking, I can't think of anything. Green Arrow.
That's rude. That's disrespectful, Madam Web. So so here on the Hat Guys podcast, we do want to talk about the 6 year plan. I keep seeing it.
I know.
So Gunn and Safran didn't elaborate, but they did say they had a 6 year plan that would include an Avengers Endgame style culmination. Huh.
Excuse me?
On your left, and Sergeant Rock shows up to help Clayface and Batman. Like,
Bro, what's he gonna do? What is Sergeant Rock gonna do against Darkseid, bro? Like
shoot him,
him and Easy Company gonna show up.
shoot, make him
What
eat a
did Bat-
peach.
What did Batman do?
It's true. Shoot him.
He died.
Oh no! All right.
So I bring this up because they talk about how things are a little loose. We got our probably like a year and a half ago the James Gunn announcement slate where he talked about all the projects that DC Studios had planned. Where talked on Twitter, or was it? I think it was Elon Musk's X the Everything app at that point. But I don't know if they can play loosey goosey and also have a 6 year style Avengers movie at the same time.
Well, I think they can play loosey goosey as long as, again, as they have a structure, right? Like they have Superman already in the can. They have Creature Commandos already in the can. As long as they have a line of tent poles, and maybe tent poles at a certain extent is, the main 7 Justice League characters. I'm not saying that's what it is. We don't know.
Yeah,
we
besides
don't know
Wonder
that yet.
Woman, James Gunn refuses to talk about Wonder Woman.
Oh, well. But as long as they have tent poles, they can work with within that in any direction and inform the broader world.
So they need to have their Batmans, their Supermans, their Green Arrows.
I'm not even necessarily saying that. I'm just saying, whatever plan they have to shape that initial 6 years up to that Avengers Endgame film, that Endgame film, the Crisis, the Justice League, it could be any number of things. As long as they have a solid, again, not to keep going back to this, but a solid foundation of films, that will give them the room to maneuver and make something creative and interesting.
Yeah, and I think one thing that Marvel didn't have when they were doing their Avengers was live action TV.
Yeah.
That really wasn't until afterwards. So I guess that with TV, they could really build up that universe. And Max seems to put like a lot of money into TV. Some of the biggest TV shows right now are on Max. You think like White Lotus, Game of Thrones was on there. The Rehearsal is coming back. I'm super excited for that. But they have an infrastructure there that has a viewer base that understands appointment programming. Like show up on Sundays. That's an HBO thing. And I think they've been able to kind of continue that with Max. So as much as I'm not a big TV guy anymore, I think, if they can build up Hal and Jon Stewart's story and Lanterns coming up, that helps flesh out this universe that Superman lives in, that Guy Gardner lives in, that all these characters live in. I think something big like a Justice League movie or something, or a Crisis movie, maybe too soon for that. So 6 years from now, that would be 2031 or something. Jesus Christ, felt weird saying that date.
Damn.
But I think it's a possibility.
I mean, that's when Marvel's Crisis movie is going to come out. So.
Oh yeah, because Disney would have already bought DC at that point because WB went under completely.
Listen, I'm not even being facetious. I'm talking about fucking Secret Wars.
It's true. Oh yeah, that's the date, right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
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 Hecatron in the chat says it would be insane if they weren't planning on a Justice League culmination of events. Maybe not the full story arc, but they are prepared to set up the character foundations. And to that point, Tyler, like I think uh, if they're leading up to this big endgame thing, maybe it's that becomes the start of Justice League. Like it is something because right now they have such disparate characters. We have Sergeant Rock, we have potentially Swamp Thing, Teen Titans, Batman, Clayface, Supergirl, right? So like these are not your
Wild that Clayface is just thrown in there.
it's such a hodgepodge of characters that doesn't feel like the start of the Justice League as much as it does the start of us being introduced to the universe. That's the first 6 years, endgame style thing that necessitates Justice League, and that becomes like a second arc.
It's more, I guess, a better analogy wouldn't be Endgame, but it would be Avengers,
Yeah, yeah, I think so. But
which is
maybe
what they should have been doing in the first place.
but I think if they end up doing that, right, they're showing their cards, right? Like obviously we want to get to that point, right? That is going to be the end goal, the end mandate for any kind of DC film project. But they need to acclimate us first to what this is going to be, and so they're giving us some of the weirder stuff, some of the foundation for Superman, Matt Reeves Batman #2, whenever that comes out.
Which is not part of
eh,
this universe. We'll get to that, but
yeah,
um,
but yeah,
I just want to call out Red Spiral asks, is the new Superman film in this new universe? Yes, that's pretty much the first live action bit of it.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, exactly. And then James also said the TV shows are for me the best format to tell in between stories, and movies to tell the big stories that they can't fit into a 2 hour format. I'm not watching the TV shows. I don't got Max no more. Don't do that to me.
Will you though? Like you have a Tom King and Damon Lindelof, done Lantern show coming up.
I won't.
Well, I know you won't, Cal. That's not saying anything new.
I'm poor and I can't afford it, and it's also not here. So
Yeah, I'm budgeting, bro. I can't. I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I might ride those the Savage Shores, but that's about it.
Great book. These Savage Shores. Great book.
Hmm.
I don't. The creator and written, the script driven idea really appeals to me. But the huge deluge of content that I'm gonna have to keep up with is a little much. I hope
so
it's
long.
like plug and play. Like I'm interested in the Lantern show because I like Lindelof. I liked Lost. I liked Leftovers. Also Watchmen, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm excited from that from a creative standpoint. That could have been a detective show and I would have watched it. Um,
I'm pumped for Kyle Chandler. I really like
did you
that
see the
guy.
picture of him? I don't have it on the
Oh
on the
yeah.
slide, but
Oh yeah, I did.
he got that shit on the flight jacket. Yeah.
That's not a flight jacket.
Is it not? Did it
That's
not
a
have
regular ass jacket.
like a Sherpa? Sherpa
It's got
collar?
the flight jackets have the great big
Oh,
cottony fuzzy sheep looking.
I'm a
Yeah,
city
yeah.
slicker. I don't fly.
It's cool shit.
Yeah.
My arms
How
are
would you
tired
know?
though. But so you brought up Battinson, Marco, earlier.
Yeah.
And Matt Reeves is Batman 2 Electric Boogaloo, which is coming soon, TM. But they did bring up that in this article from Hollywood Reporter, they did bring up Batman Brave and the Bold as one of the books they're talking about, or one of the movies they're talking about. And since then, Gunn has said that he's kind of spearheading control. He kind of gripped control for that movie. And he will be giving Andy Muschietti, the director, who also did The Flash, first look at the script when the script's ready. But
Wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
I zoned out. Did you say Gunn is taking hold of the Reeves Batman stuff?
no. This is the Batman Brave and the Bold stuff.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Reeves
sorry, sorry.
is doing his own thing, and in this, Gunn pretty much says, yeah, that Robert Pattinson's Batman and Reeves is Batman, separate thing.
That's over.
Deal with it.
Great.
Not
Yeah,
going to be like Pattinson is not. This is not a Pattinson movie. This is a movie now I am taking kind of creative control with,
Yes.
and Muschietti will have the script when it's ready. Not that Muschietti is working on production of it. Muschietti will shoot it.
Right.
He's not working on the production of it. I am okay with Muschietti not being on this project, to be honest.
Yeah, I prefer it that way.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
this kind of feels like the first steps in slowly pushing him out. This feels like, hey, you'll get first look at the script. I'm not saying the script's yours. You know,
Yeah, you get to look at what you could have done.
like when an actor, is like, oh, we'll give you first look at the script. If you want it, you can have it, but we're not sold on you. Like it's not just you that we're looking for. So this kind of reeked of like, all right, maybe the buzz on this guy wasn't the best, and I think his previous comments about the Flash failing and him blaming women probably didn't help him out, because that's going to be in press as soon as that movie comes out. They're going to bring that stuff out. So I don't think when DC Studios is trying to be like, hey, here's this new Batman movie universe, they want to deal with that and the stink of the Flash. I think Machete's got maybe a little too much stink on him right now.
Yeah, yeah. Get past that guy. Go do some other stuff. Gunn taking control is the confident part, as opposed to letting Machete come back.
Or, oh, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Or getting Muschietti in a position where his film isn't in 20 years of development hell, like The Flash was.
Yeah, I'm not blaming the Flash on Machete. That movie was a smorgasbord of bullshit.
I think a lot of people do, and I fall into that trap. I would like, I don't necessarily believe that Muschietti isn't competent. He did it, right?
I believe he did it. Who's on first? But I know he was involved. Oh no, we're talking pronouns. He was involved in that series of films.
Yeah.
So
So
I didn't see
like
it. I don't like scary clowns.
Well, that's why he got a divorce.
Nobody does, brother.
The I don't believe he's not competent, and for it to have the success that it did, he's got something. But with the Flash, he was saddled with an impossible task that they just needed to get out. I would like to see something that Muschietti can put himself out there, full chest, and say, no, this is mine. I have been on this the whole time. This is my statement on this.
Which, judging by this comment from James Gunn, it's not this movie.
Well, so I guess my thing with that is, that I lost that thought. My thing with that is that if he's got Gunn's backing, Gunn's like, okay, here's this project. I trust Muschietti with this project. Go whole hog, King. Okay, I'm there.
MP with the super chat. Thank you, MP. 499 asking, what are the chances Gunn himself ultimately writes and directs The Brave and the Bold? That's kind of where I think this is going.
I wouldn't hate that.
That feels like the right flavor for him, actually. That compared to the other stuff, this feels like, you can, if it's like the cartoon, that feels right.
The cartoon.
Batman Brave and the
Brave and the
Bold.
Bold.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna feel like that cartoon.
Well, but I'm just saying, if that is a style, that's a flavor that James Gunn likes to play into. A little comedy, a little bit of the action flavored, peppered with comedy, that kind of stuff. So I think that makes sense. I'd watch it.
I love Brave and the Bold, the cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't think the general audience would like that that style as a film. I think that's more like that's more like an Adam West style thing. I think this is going to be more typical. Honestly, I think Brave and the Bold will be more akin to the who did the 90s Batman and Robin and Forever?
Val Kilmer?
No. The creative behind it.
Oh,
It's blocking, but it
Schumacher.
Schumacher. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be more akin to Schumacher in the sense that it's going to be very superhero-y. It's going to be clearly within the DCU, not Batman movie that then ties into the DCU. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this is going to feel like Batman #1, the comic. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I think that's what I enjoy, and that's what I'm interested in. And I'm okay with James Gunn doing that. I think what I've seen so far of Superman, I could be wrong once the movie comes out, but I like the tone they're striking with that. And I think a Batman in a similar but maybe a little darker tone pairing with Corn Sweat's Superman might be something I'd like to see.
In something that's not Batman versus. I think what's important
Yeah.
here will be the Batman teams up with Batman blankety blank, right? Like we're not looking for heroes fighting here.
We'll get a World's Finest before we get a Batman v Superman again.
Yeah.
Which is what I want
for.
personally.
Yeah.
Also in this interview, he confirmed Teen Titans is happening as I film. He said Teen Titans.
Let's go.
They're working on a script right now. He said Teen Titans too, so I don't know what that means.
I mean, that means confirmed Borneo, right?
Oh no, that was Titans the book. So I think we're safe.
Sorry.
I think we're safe there.
Titans.
Yeah, it was Teen Titans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It confirmed.
Think about what that meant.
Yeah. I did. I mean, this is what's this? A Dan Mora cover I put on here. I think it's good. I think it has to be Teen Titans. Because okay, we got some super chats. We got
to shut up. We got a big old super chat from Atomic Hound. The publishing side of Marvel and DC are investing in mutual cooperation, but that's impossible at the studio level. Second place is last place. If Superman bombs, who knows what happens? The pressure has to be incredible. Great show as always. Thank you so much, Hound.
And here's the thing. Thank you, Hound, by the way, but you're not wrong in the sense that, like, if Superman does bomb, Zaslav could just be like, all right, I need another yacht. We're cutting some movies. We're cutting your funding, you know?
Yeah.
I like The Rock. He was me and him got along. I'm going to give him the reins instead. So I think that's always a possibility with anything in terms of, like, you're in a big business. It's a little scary. But that's show business, baby. You know what I mean? Like, if we get there, it'll suck.
Yeah, but I think Gunn's the guy to handle it. You know, he had his big job at Marvel, he lost it, and then they came begging for him back, and then he got the big job, you know, with his best pal at DC. You know, so I think if anybody's got the guts to give it a shot, with the bold vision and with a serious plan, which we've already seen, you know, there's a good chance we could, a minimum, we're getting 6 years.
Well,
longer than my marriage, am I right?
Hey.
I got one more year for those jokes, and then I have to stop them. So
yeah, you'll be past the 6 years. But then the thing is, if it becomes that Superman flops, then does that mean they have 6 years of flops? You know, like what does that mean? That was the plan, right? That they have
just
to
because one movie flops doesn't mean all of them are automatically going to flop as well.
But if that one was if the success of the start was pending on Superman, and because of that, they have stuff outlined from using that as a basis. We don't know necessarily how it's gonna play out and what takes lead, but presumably it will be Superman. And if that doesn't do well, then the rest of those things have to be built around it. Imagine building a universe around Snyder's Justice League or the Snyder's Flash. You know, like how do you do so when there's stink there, and you have to work off of maybe lesser quality work.
So from what I'm gathering, you're saying if Superman flops and is not good, that means the subsequent movies now have more work to do.
Yeah,
Because
they have more
now
work.
they're in a universe that maybe started off a little bit,
Shaky.
yeah, the foundation's not there.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong, and I think you're right even so much as that because that's also the James Gunn movie. He's the creative lead for this whole universe. So if creatively that doesn't resonate with audiences, he probably doesn't get to do the Batman one.
But I also think not only will they have to do the films afterward have to do more work, and maybe Gunn doesn't get it, get to keep going or whatever. I think that the Superman is going to have to really flop. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, it could flop. People are going to show up. This shit's going to maybe make $1 billion, right? But it could still creatively flop. The wrong lesson can be learned from the studio there. And Dan says here, well, if it flops and they follow the previous track record, they'll start second guessing and undermining this stuff in production. Which we
Yeah.
mentioned, right? Yeah, for sure. But if it flops, they learn the wrong lesson. They say, oh well, shit. Okay, it didn't do great, but you know what? Fine. Let's keep the pushing on the pedal here. Let's keep going full speed ahead on stuff.
Well, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that they were talking about here. I did want to we didn't get to touch on it because we were gobsmacked by that great super chat from Tom account. But the idea that this is Teen Titans, do you think that's the right way to go? Do you think I think there's more recognition with Teen Titans than there are just Titans? Because then I just think of Denzel Washington in football.
I think if you lead with Robin, you've already got a base.
Really? You think Robin has enough?
I agree.
I think
Robin
Robin
really hasn't been in film.
alone.
Oh,
Robin
wait.
alone over. I mean, not.
Not
He's the
without
only Teen
Titans.
Titan. Yeah.
Yeah.
A team of
Teen
one.
Titans. Actually, there's a Robin movie. No, Robin. Like Robin alone has the visual cachet of the Teen Titans. I think if you lead that with Nightwing, you're gonna miss it.
I mean, it could also, if you do lead with Robin and you want to do Nightwing down the line, you're at least future proofing yourself too.
Yes. Yeah.
To be able to do that. Yeah.
It gives him a solid arc that makes sense and gives. I mean, it gives all of those characters room to grow in that span alone.
Technically, the actors can then do the same thing the comics did, where they can level up too.
Yeah.
I think
you get your Young Justice there, then you ultimately graduate them. Like you can that to me sniffs of a lesson learned from Marvel. Of now they're getting into the Young Avengers. Now they're getting into
now they are.
Well, you know what I mean. Like if you have that all the way in the background, you're set for the next 20 years.
And Atomic Baby in the chat, I like how the Atomic family is growing with our listeners. Atomic Baby said, I grew up with Teen Titans animated show. I'm so excited. You're not alone, though. Like, we grew up with Teen Titans. Then there's Teen Titans Go, which another generation completely grew up with. So there is recognition for those characters. And I think they stick with those. They do a movie with the characters from that. Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Raven. You're
Minimum.
good. Minimum.
Yep.
I would say throw Wally in there. I think you should throw a Flash in there. And I think Flash being kind of I hate saying this, but the Flash being propped up by the rest of the crew would actually help the Flash in terms of movies.
Yeah.
And also, I just think Barry's gone. Don't touch Barry for a while. They should they should have done what the comics should have done years ago and not even brought it back. Keep it with Wally. And then Wally can grow into that role.
Shout out to Famous Thanos. Says, nah, if you lead with Nightwing, you just have to center the marketing around those glutes, peach emoji. And he follows up with guaranteed $2 billion off them Grayson cheeks. Yo,
Well,
facts, bro.
If it's Teen Titans, I hope we're not doing that.
Oh, true. When he levels up,
Yeah,
Young
it's not barely
Justice,
legal Teen Titans, okay?
Stop. No.
Teen Titans 2.
All right, so let's talk about
much.
some other things here. So Deadline also had an article, and this article is by, I want to source these people, Anthony D'Alessandro. Kind of gave some updates on a varying amount of things at DC that we've known about that are coming to film and TV and all that stuff. So the first one is The Authority. So we did a book club on The Authority. I think when this was announced, right around the same time. So The Authority has the script has had a harder time coming along, is what Gunn's been quoted with. So that seems to be, that's like limbo. This one's limbo. It's maybe not on the front burner, it might be on the back burner, waiting for a good script. The fact that we're getting the clarity of, hey, the script's not there yet, we're waiting on it, is refreshing to me. Rather than Feige not really answering the question, knowing it has a release date and kind of trying to hit that. Like, think about how we talk about Blade. That movie's a mess. Yeah. We know nothing about it. They're hush-hush on it, and the hush-hush nature of it makes it seem like there's a mess there. This is like if you go over someone's place and there's a messy apartment, and you're like, well, the place is a mess. But if you walk in and be like, oh, don't mind the mess. All right, cool, I won't mind it. You told me there's a mess. I'm aware of it.
Well, I mean, if you go over and you know what's like behind the mess.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Like, I'm going through a divorce and I haven't been able to clean recently. My mind's elsewhere. Like, you get it. You sort of understand.
I like James Gunn oversharing.
In that same analogy, it's like, the script's just not there. We don't have the mindset for The Authority at the moment. Maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. Whereas if you just go over and Kevin Feige's got Blade all over the floor, you're really grossed out,
And like the idea of like an Authority script too, I think from a creative standpoint, The Authority probably has its feet into some like real world stuff. Like, think about when that book came out, who wrote it at the time, having to adapt that script. I can see why maybe people don't want to adapt that right now.
Well, and I think with probably with Thunderbolts on the horizon as well, and the actual real world politics of it all, not even just the the comic book politics of it, but like the real world stuff.
Exactly.
I think is definitely putting a hamper on it, depending on what they're trying to invoke.
And we know the engineer is coming in Superman. That was confirmed. So we'll at least be introduced to one character. She hasn't been in any of the trailers. She was in some like behind the scenes stuff. So who knows if we'll actually see her, if she got cut. But this is fine. Do it when it's ready. I'm always do it when it's ready sort of person, especially when it comes to film and stuff like that. Waller was going to have a TV show. It has been said it's had a bumpy development, which was impacted by the strikes.
Don't. All right, good. They cut it. Thanks.
Can't imagine why that would be true.
I think they should pause on Waller too. Like Waller, because they wanted was Viola Davis, right? On it. And I know she's great, and I know this kind of would tie in directly with Peacemaker and all that.
Teen Titans. Whoa, wait, Beast World.
How do we boot Marco off the show?
Wait, Beast World. Borneo. Wildfires in Borneo.
Oh no.
But I'll just ignore that. And now I know how Sean feels. So this is, I guess it's fine. Like I think it's too tied into the previous universe that I'm okay with not dealing with it for a bit.
I just obviously, what can you? Not that the question is what can you do with Amanda Waller. Obviously, there's a million things you could do with Amanda Waller. But when you're talking about the DC universe and like the entirety of the DC universe, we're making an Amanda Waller TV show when there are so many other things we could be doing. That's what we're focusing on.
That made sense when Peacemaker hit. Oh, spin
You
off
know,
one of
yeah.
the characters. That makes
Yep.
sense. When then James Gunn got control of the whole DC universe, now it's just like, all right, this is small potatoes at this point. We need entrees here. We don't need hors d'oeuvres. And
yeah,
I think Viola Davis showing up in other movies is great. Have her show up as Waller, quick scene in Superman, quick scene in, I don't know, Brave and the Bold or something. I think having her as almost like a Nick Fury thing would work. But I'm okay with maybe the show being put on hold for a bit.
yeah. But
Paradise,
like,
go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say yeah, like have her sneak in like a cameo here and there, so that way she becomes like I think you have the opportunity to build her back up. Like right now, she's relegated to the TV space with Peacemaker, but to be able to separate her, and to maybe if you want to fully integrate her, don't give her the TV show, give her like a background thing. That way she's kind of lurking and menacing and plotting, and I think that gives her weight again.
Yeah, yeah. And I also I would like her just to be what she originally was like the Wall with Suicide Squad, but
Right.
whatever. Paradise Lost, the Amazon show, I believe it's a show. It is still in development, according to them. No writers have been confirmed. So this seems very much like, hey, we'll address women eventually.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
they got Supergirl.
Yeah, that's true.
they
That's true.
listen. They have notebooks full of women.
Binders full of women, maybe the old Anthony
Sure.
Weiner style. Little oh, what did he go by? What was his fake name?
Oh,
Oh,
Oh boy,
Carlos
that's
Danger. It was Carlos Danger,
something
is
like
what it
that.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My,
wow.
my brother had an official college ID that the guy working there at his college made of him with his ID, and it said Carlos Danger. So he would show up to all these college events. They'd be like, "That's not your real name," and he's like, "That's a real ID." But yeah, so the binder's full of Amazonians. It's just somewhere collecting dust right now at James Gunn's DC universe. Fine. It's whatever. I think this is another one where it's like similar to Waller, and oh god, it's just these are both women. Oh no, where I feel like these are great parts of the DC universe that I would like to see, but I don't think need their own property this early on. Like Wonder Woman, I think she does need to be somewhere in this docket.
Yeah.
I think her absence is noticeable and not good in my opinion. Like outside of Supergirl, that's the only female solo thing we have.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
tied in with Superman stuff. So I do think there needs to be something there, even if it's like a Black Canary movie, even if it's give me a fucking Harley Quinn movie at this point. I think that's
Well,
noticeable. I don't think Paradise Lost needs to be it.
it, I'm. It's interesting because it feels like for something like Wonder Woman, they're trying to build the world around her first, or they would rather build the world around her first than introduce the character. Whereas for Superman, out the gate, Batman, easy enough. You can send them out, but maybe there's more leg room that's needed for Wonder Woman. Her where she fits into this as being, if this is going to be a Game of Thrones ish story about the Mascara, like her being separate and existing separate from the world of man makes sense. Um, but then it becomes a question of how do you integrate that down the road?
Yeah. Yeah. So now to some of the bummers, I think here. Let's talk about Booster Gold. So Booster Gold was actually announced as a Max series at the time.
Oh, I thought you said we were going into the bummers.
I
Not the
was excited
winners.
for the idea of a Booster Gold show actually, but they had a showrunner in plan. He was ready, and now the showrunner was just like, I lost interest in it. So right now they're looking for another showrunner. But that was like the most honest I felt James Gunn was with this. He's like, yeah, we had a guy. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Mean.
That's cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if it was like Dan Harmon? He's like, I got too much flack the last time I did a show.
You know what? If Dan Harmon did a Booster Gold show, I would be very into that. That would get me.
Or
You
who's
know,
the guy
I-
that did the Good Place?
Oh, not that guy.
No, I love the Good Place.
I do
Good
too,
show.
but I don't want a Booster Gold from him.
Michael Schur.
Yes.
Sure. Okay, yeah. That wasn't a pun on purpose, but
You know what? Dan Harmon would get me to resubscribe to Max.
did he get canceled? Did he not get
He
canceled?
he did. He did. Yeah.
You got like a
couple years
loose
back.
canceling, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
those
Well, I
diet
think he came back.
cancellations.
No.
he did a real sincere apology and like changed his life.
But then the other
So I
guy
think-
from Rick and Morty got canceled.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
did he?
And I
Yeah,
think
the
there
guy who
was
played
some
Morty.
major flack for that. Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had to recast both roles, which
I
apparently
thought it was just,
unnoticeable. The guys doing it
that
right
was
now
the
are killing
same dude. Oh wow, okay, didn't know that.
it. And they have Dan Harmon has, cachet with WB.
Yeah.
So I think that could be someone good for it. But I like the idea that James Gunn's just like, yeah, creatively, we had a guy doesn't want to do it anymore. We're looking for a new guy. I'm totally cool with that transparency.
I think the issue with stuff like that will be a problem down the line if it's on one of these tentpole things. But
Agreed.
I wonder if, those tentpole things are going to be what sort of James Gunn has in his targets, so to speak.
I mean, with Brave and the Bold, that's obviously a tentpole. That's their Batman.
Yeah.
And James
Yeah.
Gunn saying, "Hey, I'm taking control of the script."
Yeah.
So the wishy-washiness of the tentpoles isn't there. If James Gunn is, if someone can't do the job, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Which I guess that works because it lets them to be a little more selective in the secondary stuff. Like there is no DC universe that needs Booster Gold immediately.
Yep.
It's a great flavor to add in and sprinkle in.
It's
But-
bad enough we're getting Guy Gardner first thing. Like,
Nathan
come on.
Fillion.
Nah,
too.
that slaps. That's kind of cool actually.
I mean, it just means that he doesn't get to be Booster Gold, which is probably everyone's fan cast, right?
Oh,
Joel McHale.
Pete Collins just said that. Pete
Joel-
McHale as Booster Gold. Book it.
Joel McHale as Booster Gold would have worked great back during like the height of the soup with like Spaghetti Cat and all that.
Bro, it'll still work.
Agreed.
Kale, you
That
were a
dude
soup
has
fan,
not
weren't
changed. Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, I love the soup. I'm constantly looking at
McHale
old soup
rules.
clips. Yeah. Well, he
Yeah.
worked with Jeff Johns on Stargirl.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So,
We've already got him in the perfect role.
so yeah, I mean, another one where it's like, okay, fine. I would rather them have a creative vision and steady ground with this character before they just fart it out. And it's one of those fan favorites too, where I don't think they can afford to just fart out a Booster Gold thing. Blue Beetle animated series. This was never officially announced, but they did talk about it here. Similar with like Teen Titans, where like that wasn't officially announced, but it was out there. It's not greenlit yet, but Angel Manuel Soto, the actor for the movie, is ready to play the role in an animated version.
Sick.
Damn that.
Did you see the movie?
I saw the movie. Yeah, I
I
saw the
never
movie.
saw it.
Yeah, it was. I did a review. For those of you, I did a solo Patreon review.
Right.
Whenever that came out.
You're
a
doing
couple years back.
reviews on movies. Sean's talking about snow bunnies. What's next?
And this feels kind of like a shame because
Got demoted.
yeah, you know what, he's on a TV show now and it's animated. He's just voicing the character. He's not there. He's not portraying.
I think you're underestimating an animated role, though. Like I think Blue Beetle should
Yes.
always been an animated thing. I think it works. That property works so good for animation. I'd feel like probably one of my favorite parts of Young Justice is the
Young
Blue Beetle
Justice.
stuff.
Yep.
Jaime Reyes is a great character that could be DC Spider-Man if they do it correctly.
Yep. Yep.
And I would actually love to see an animated show. I think that could be people's like Spider-Man show if they play it right.
Yep.
I don't know, bro. They're demoting the Hispanic. I
No
don't
women,
know.
no Latinos. What is this,
No
James Gunn?
What
One of
the
your movies?
What the fuck?
Damn.
Uh-oh.
That no DEI went to DC as well, huh?
Oh no.
Called
It did
right
go to
in.
Paramount. And that's real.
Oh no,
Oh.
Cale, it went everywhere.
We can,
Yeah.
we can talk off mic about that,
Sure.
but
And then
that's real.
we're gonna talk about the last part, Marco. And I'm afraid to bring this up to you. You ready for this, Marco? Can you gird yourself?
Ah shit. What is it?
Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing. They're waiting for James Mangold's schedule to be free.
Oh, all right. Fuck. Shit. As long as the guy's still on, if he's still on it, we're good. Take your time.
So you're
bro.
sold with James Mangold being on it. You want
Oh,
you want
yes.
Timothy Chalamet to be Bob Dylan as Alec Holland.
Yeah, well, maybe not Bob Dylan, maybe not Timothy Chalamet. Give me, I don't know, Who could be? Who could be? Who could be?
Not fan. It's Jacob Elordi, but we don't need a fan cast.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Jacob Elordi should be Batman. That's my hot take. There we go.
Who's the guy that played the Thing in Rise of the Silver Surfer? That guy.
Michael Chiklis.
That guy as Swamp Thing. Okay.
I also like how you say Rise of the Silver Surfer. You named the second movie.
Yeah, I did.
Not the 2005
That's what we need.
one. I don't know
Swamp
about
Thing?
that.
Yes. Yes. You guys don't see it because you don't have the vision, but it's there. That's what it is. That's what it should be.
Michael Chiklis?
Expand.
Does he still work?
Do you mean in like
You want a Joe
voice?
Pesci style?
In the voice, in the way that he carries himself in his acting, I think it's there. I think there's something that he could really tap into that will be sentimental. That'll be a man turned monster that he could really just evoke.
Cole said Boyd Holbrook as Alec Holland. He's working with Mangold a lot lately. That's the guy who played Johnny Cash, I think, in A Complete Unknown, and he was in Logan as Donald Pierce. Was it? I think.
What the fuck? This guy's This guy's young. Oh, he's 43. This guy's. I don't know.
That's Hollywood young
man.
at this point. We got enough fillers. That's a good Hollywood 35.
That's yeah. But I don't know, man. I need somebody who is physically larger.
Jack Black as Swamp Thing. Oh, what type of large?
No, Michael Chiklis.
I don't think he acts anymore, Mark.
Lou
Google,
Ferrigno.
look up Michael Chiklis's IMDb real quick.
Recent creds. He's been on Coyote since 2021.
Coyotes?
the hell is that?
You watch Coyotes, Marco?
I
Didn't
don't know
think
what that is.
so. Pete Collins says Joel McHale as Swamp Thing.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
What the fuck?
He's got the range.
I like how in the news here with Swamp Thing, I like how James Gunn's like, yeah, we want Mangold to do it. We're just gonna wait for him, and he is busy.
Yeah.
A Complete Unknown is still doing its Oscars, kind of buzz tour right now. I liked the movie. I didn't think it was great, but I liked the movie. Honestly, the Timothy Chalamet press tour for that movie should be studied. They should find a way to put that in a museum. It was genius. But I'm okay with them waiting for him. I think Mangold has one more thing lined up. I did not care for his Indiana Jones. That was rough. But he Mangold, when he's talked about Swamp Thing, he seemed excited. So I like that.
Right. And that's why I'm excited is because he's excited about it. It seems like he's a fan. Seems like he wants to be able to tell a good story. And if what we're saying is we're giving this to the writers, to the creators to drive that narrative, that's what I want. Yo, Cole, hold on a second.
Okay, go
The
for it.
Rock returns to the DCU. The hierarchy of the Swamp Thing, of the swamp, is about to change. You know what? I don't hate it.
It'd be a real mossy Swamp Thing, I think.
Yeah, he'd like somehow be like, the good guy fighting some kind of the Floronic man. He's like triumphant.
Likely thing for a Swamp Thing movie to be about, actually.
Actually, yeah, that was probably a bad
No,
example.
Give me Anton Arcane. That's what I want. Bring Abby. into
Oh no, you got to build up to him.
this. There's no Swamp Thing extended universe coming. Anyway. So that was the Deadline Hollywood Reporters updates on it. Got some more announcements though. Got three more things, sort of like a Columbo. Three more things. They announced some animated series coming out for this DC universe. So the first one they announced was My Adventures with Green Lantern, and this is Marco. Do you recognize the My Adventures with kind of thing here?
Nah.
This is going to tie into My Adventures with Superman, the kind of anime-ish inspired,
Okay.
most recent Superman animated show that people have seemed to really enjoy. My Adventures with Superman. That was, I think, the showrunner for that was Jake Wyatt, who I'm a big fan of, and he's also going to be spearheading this Green Lantern book. I actually have a Jake Wyatt commission. That I got years back. It's MODOK. I have a Jake Wyatt MODOK.
Yeah, of course.
And I met him. Totally nice guy. This is when he was in comics and not doing TV. But so this will tie into that. I'll read the synopsis here. My Adventures with Green Lantern will follow high school student Jessica Cruz, who has her life upended when a Green Lantern power ring falls from the sky and chooses Cruz to be its champion. Things get even worse when more debris from the Lantern's ancient space war arrives, along with their alien foes.
Cool.
Jake Wyatt
Cool.
doing the Green Lantern, and it's Jessica Cruz. I'm in.
I don't know anything about Jessica Cruz, but I'm excited about a new Green Lantern animated property, and that it's in the Adventures with. This has got me written all over it.
And like this doesn't tie into like the DCU studio filmverse proper. This is kind of like its own thing, but it's its own thing with My Adventures with Superman. And that has gotten really good buzz. I've been wanting to get to it, which if you've gotten me to a point where I at least want to watch your show, that should be commended. And I like that they're choosing Jessica Cruz here. I mean, obviously this is not her actual origin. Her origin is that, she was powering, and then, because she was so afraid of stuff, then she eventually overcomes that fear and becomes a Green Lantern. I'm okay with her just giving her the old Green Lantern treatment. That's fine. I like the idea of a Green Lantern in high school too. I think that could work. So I'm I don't know if I'm excited for this, but a trailer will be something that I'm excited to see if I want to watch the rest.
Yeah,
For sure.
And I think if they're showing other Green Lantern alien foes, like we can have the Guns here. We can have the who are the teethy guys from Invasion?
Oh,
the Dominators.
Dominators. Yeah, like throw those guys in the mix. Maybe a space cab guy. Space cabbie. That's the guy. Throw
Space Cat.
Sure.
throw some weirdos in here. They also announced.
Hey, wait! Before you do that,
Yeah.
can we get some more likes on this video?
Let's get at least
Are y'all
69.
kidding me with this right now? Y'all coming in here and you're not liking the video. You're watching it, but you're not liking it.
That's like coming to my apartment and not giving me a little kiss on the mouth.
Ugh, disgusting!
Never.
How dare you?
I would never.
Anytime anyone comes over, I gotta get a little smooch.
Oh,
Just a little smooch.
Yeah, and then
little-
they have
I don't
they write a letter to HR. I have a separate HR for my apartment.
I don't necessarily want tongue, but if you're into it,
Like Marco with his cat.
that's right. That's right. It was the dog. Everyone keeps thinking it's the cat. and
Sorry,
it was
I
the
kiss my
dog.
cats. So
oh, that's better.
I'm a munch. What can I say? Gavin Guidry says there's 2 seasons just waiting for you, Tyler. I'm sure it's waiting for me along with All Star Superman and its multiple iterations that I have not read.
Oh, very good. Very
I'll get to it.
a uncanny, a smooch for each pal right here on the cheek, and the lips for Tyler.
I got a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
turn
surface
my head
area
real
here.
quick.
It'd be hard to miss. Actually, my first kiss, she missed. She misjudged, and I'm like, this is an easy target. She missed. Yeah.
What?
Go again.
What did she hit?
Like she got like half her. Like it was like half like here.
Okay.
Like it was just like whatever.
All right.
Yeah. On the nose.
In
or
a
like-
stairwell in Paris.
what a
You know what?
that was a flex.
It's not a bad place to have a first kiss.
Yeah.
Let's just say I was wearing basketball shorts, so it got a little awkward.
All right.
Let's talk about. Let's talk. You're a chubby high school kid with a huge basketball
have to
shorts.
go
Yeah,
there.
let's talk about. It's too early for that. Let's talk about Starfire. Doing a Starfire show.
no
Just
way.
her own. Just her own. Marco.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself.
I'm sitting.
Okay. So Starfire follows her adventures after she uses an ancient spaceship she discovers on her home planet of Tamaran to escape her planet and explore the stars. Sounds nice, right?
Cute.
How about this? Along the way, she'll meet Space Biker Crush, Plant-Loving Fern, and the magical Princess Amethyst of Gemworld.
Ooh.
And together, they will uncover the deepest reaches of the DC universe. Do you have that ready?
Bro, amethyst? What?
They'll save space.
Been
They'll-
used in so long.
Amethyst, bro.
trying to run a
that's
show here, Marco.
crazy. Sorry, dude. Sorry. Wow.
That's gonna be a show for the gays.
They're
Hey,
going to have
whoa.
space dolphins evolve, surf Technicolor nebulas, and boldly soar into the unknown.
Oh, dude, sold. Is this on HBO Max? I'm getting it.
What, this made you get Max?
Yeah, bro.
Not
You
the
get amethyst,
Lindelof
dude?
Lantern show?
Amethyst, bro.
That's all it takes. And Marco broke his camera doing this.
Sorry.
So- the explosion effect just broke everything.
Just destroyed it.
Yeah, Gavin, someone clip that. Jarvis clip that. This could be fun. I think this feels like remember She-Ra? That was I think it was N.D. Stevenson worked on that, right? And
Yeah, you're right.
that kind of, it could be like a Rebecca Sugar joint too. Like I think there's a lot of good animators who've worked in the WB and like the X Cartoon Network stuff that could do some great stuff here.
Yeah, tragically, they're not those great, tremendous animators aren't going to come back to.
No, they're not.
Cartoon Network or WB, but maybe we'll get someone cool.
Yeah, but like that kind of vibe is, I think, something that would work here. Just fucking like Crush. This is Lobo's daughter, Marco.
Yeah.
So just girls fucking kicking ass.
Hey, dude,
be cool.
That's rad.
Yeah,
I'm about that.
And then there's one more. This one I thought was a bit of a weird one. This one's called DC Superpowers. Okay. It takes place in the Alliance School for Heroes and follows Lightning, Flash, Plastic Man, Aquagirl, Green Lantern, and Terra as they attempt to level up their powers under the supervision of Principal Martian Manhunter.
You know what this is? This is Tiny Titans.
Is that what that's about?
Yes. Yeah, it's Tiny Titans.
Huh. Interesting. Marco's Googling this quickly. That's by oh geez. The artist
Art Balthazar.
Art Balthazar.
Yes.
Yeah. Works for All Yeah Comics, my local comic shop that I go to.
56 issues.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
I love that series.
He was
dude.
Scotty Young variant stuff before Scotty Young was doing that.
Yep.
This is a ragtag group of characters. So Lightning is Black Lightning's daughter. Aquagirl, I guess, is the future state character that we never really got any more of. It was Mara and Arthur's daughter, who's like just a child now and barely in the comics. Terra being outside the Titans is interesting. But Plastic Man, I assume Wally as Flash, and my gut says Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, ? I think he fits a DEI check mark that would work here.
Well, a young guy, that the DEI there being young Lantern or whatever, that makes a ton of sense. Whereas Hal
Sure.
or John would be the older Justice League, equivalent with the Martian Manhunter.
I was just thinking there's no Latinos on this team.
Again, bro.
Is he Latino?
Kyle Rayner, yeah.
Is he not?
Thought he was.
No, he's
Romani.
I believe he's Mexican.
I have to look this up.
I could be wrong. I remember those DC Latinos variants they did where it's like
That's right. That's
here's
right. I
empanadas on the
forgot that.
cover.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, you're right. Empanadas.
Kyle was raised by his Irish mother as an only child. His father abandoned his mother when she was pregnant. It was later revealed that his father was a Mexican-American CIA agent named Gabriel Vasquez.
Irish Latino half and half. That's me. I always like Kyle Rayner. Don't call me a half and half though. I only call myself that right now, and it felt weird.
I wasn't gonna.
Felt weird. I've been called other things. That there's a slur that there's two slurs for Irish people and Latinos that rhyme, and I had one guy mix the two. It's great. Anyway, Kale's doing the math in his head.
I'm trying. Listen, I'm so not racist. I can't even fathom what those are.
Shoot Patel said, I thought Kyle was Jewish. He might be still. I don't know.
Yeah, who can say?
Yeah.
Hound wants to know if this is Elseworlds. I have to.
It's got to be.
imagine.
Yeah, I think all of these three are just like, hey, we're doing animated shows.
This
Have
is
them
just
for what it is. Yeah.
extra stuff we're doing.
Yeah, this was outside of the DC like U discussion, but sort of tied into it. But I'm pretty sure these are just separate. This is not like a Creature Commandos thing where like these characters are this world. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a ragtag group of people. I like the idea of Principal Martian Manhunter. That sounds fun to me.
That was the selling point for me. Is that's a little silly. It's goofy for sure.
Is John Lithgow playing this part too for Max? He got cast as Dumbledore for the Harry Potter show.
Oh yeah. But you know what? I don't hate that.
I don't hate that,
Casting,
but
actually.
as long as the creator gets maybe.
Oh, not that casting. John Lithgow as.
Oh
Martian
yeah, as
Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter. That's great. Yeah. Cool. So this could be good. Plastic Man in a cartoon. That's gonna be fun.
Nah.
I think the cool point of friction here to potentially being Terra, I think is really interesting.
You think they do the Terra of it all just in this?
Some form of it, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And you mentioned Brave and the Bold, the cartoon earlier, Marco. I feel like this can tackle that vibe.
Sure. Yeah.
Like there could be an episode where they meet another school and it's a whole bunch of like other characters. I don't know, Knight and Squire show up.
Bad
like,
guys.
or the
That
bad
could
guys.
be
Oh, sure.
a bad guy school. She could be a mole.
Oh yeah, true. And Deathstroke's
Yeah.
the head
Yep.
of the other school.
Head.
Yeah,
Yep.
That'd be nice. All
Could be
right.
fun.
You know what?
I think he's the I want to say he's the principal in Tiny Titans.
Deathstroke.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
wild.
Oh, I guess that would make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that would make sense.
I feel like the villains are all like the authority figures.
Oh, as they should be. When you're tiny, though, you
Yeah.
got to stick it to the man.
Yeah.
But that's all the big DC news this week, guys.
Yeah.
As
Hell yeah.
Marco
What a week.
silently claps. What do we? Yeah, what do we? Marvel. We're removing the Marvel allegations until all the other stuff we're about to talk about. But yeah. So, any final thoughts on this?
For what it's worth, I feel like the majority of the things that we've been hearing about are exciting to me. I think there are more positives coming out of this, even for the stuff that's under development, for some of the stuff that we have yet to really see manifest either in trailer or in more concrete terms. All of this to me is a positive sign for the DC, the future of the DCU, the future of the films, the future of the TV shows. I do have hesitations about the volume, but if that is my only hesitation, is that maybe I'm getting overwhelmed, but it's all good content that I'm getting overwhelmed by. From a strategic standpoint, that means that this will check off the boxes for a lot of people, but whether or not that becomes sustainable is another question.
One thing I was thinking about when they announced the animated projects was that they would all be connected in the same way Creature Commandos was. And since that doesn't seem to be the case, that does make me feel a little bit better about that.
It makes me feel like it's a Cartoon Network block. It just happens to be DC characters.
Yeah, yeah. Like it could be a Toonami, type situation.
Just have MF Doom playing in the background with some Linkin Park. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I
Get
mean,
that
like,
guy back.
I can
Oh.
easily see. Yeah, bring MF Doom back. Yeah, with what? Necromancy.
Lazarus Pit.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. He does sound like a DC character. Yeah, he's the guy
Can
that
be.
he's the architect who made the Legion of Doom headquarters. Anyway, yeah, I think I like that this is creator led. Really, it's what Marco said. It is what the DC comics have been feeling like lately. And seeing that creative vision and really it being kind of anchored by a script that has a vision and has a POV, and that's what they care about going forward, rather than just meeting quotas or release dates or links in a chain to get to the next tentpole. I'm cool with that. That's why I'm excited for a Clayface movie, probably more than I am for a lot of the Marvel movies that are planned, because it feels creatively focused.
Well, even still, it would be a horror movie, which is something Marvel dare not tread.
Yeah, it has genre involved. It has an idea.
Yeah.
It has a personality to it. Where like they announced a creative team on a new Marvel movie, and I'm like, cool, good for their wallet. Like I don't get the excitement from like the closest was Sam Raimi with Multiverse of Madness, and even then, there's a bit of Sam Raimi-isms in that movie, but not enough to where I can feel like this Clayface movie will just be that guy's vision. His name. I just blanked on his name.
Flanagan.
Flanagan's vision. Yeah, it'd be much more like Haunting of Hill House or Mr. Doctor Sleep, which I was iffy on, but
Mr. Doctor Sleep.
Shining's my favorite movie of all time, so I had issues with that movie. But yeah, I'm excited for this. But you know what I'm also excited for? The patrons. There's just such good people.
Hey. Come on.
They're just they're swell fellas, fun people, and there's a lot of them. Marco, as a leaf blower, blows right into Marco's window.
that was a car.
That was
the
a car. Yeah.
patrons are revving their engines.
Marco, we have some
Tyler.
names to shout out. Don't we?
Tyler's playing with his soundboard again.
That's
No,
right.
not yet.
I'm gonna rev my engines for
You got
this
your water?
one, but...
Sean has this by muscle memory, so this is going to be new to you.
No, I got it. I hear it. I hear it in my head. I hear it, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do a Sean
definitely
impression.
that's right. Yeah. Well, we'll try.
okay.
We'll try. We'll
Alright,
see.
alright.
Different cadence. But just starting there. Special shout out to our pals versus legends. Thunderstruck Rebecca Alejandro, the Hound of Justice Atomic Hound, Starcross Catherine Stars, the Red Spiral, Spiral Storm, Adam and Bernie the Best Boy, Spear of Judgment Jay's Jumbled, Matthew Malice Price, and also thank you to Night Stalker Harris Nijinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Dan the Truth Trudeau, who's in the chat, Marley Manistorm, Slow Flow Dameron, Christian Uncaged, Always Laughing, the Spirit of Justice, Izzy Spears, the Great Destroyer, Hyper Viper, Robert Runback, Casherback, Pete the Dreamweaver Collins, who is in the chat, James Just Jammin' Jones, Paul Powerhouse Smith, Andrew the Galaxian Smith, Neon Knight, the Cosmic Avenger, Matthew the Shade Cosmo, BJ Kicks, and one of my favorite names, the Living Blade, Boss Ron Deere. If you did not hear your name, stay tuned. We will give you a shout out later on in the show.
And if you didn't hear your name, that's good. We'll say it later. But we want to hear from you in the chat. I wanted to kind of call out some of these takes here. Shu Patel calling for Hawk and Dove to be in some of that stuff we talked about. I think Hawk and Dove would work well in that superheroes show. I'm always curious to see what people's Hawk and Dove is. Is it the guy girl or BG or GG? You know what I mean? Or no, BG or BB?
Yeah. Is there? I've always thought it was the boy girl.
No,
There's GG as well.
Is there?
Yeah.
Man, it's like Marco's search history.
Post 52. No, post 1 year later.
Sure. Yeah.
After Infinite Crisis.
Ted H says the superhero show feels like it's Doki Doki Titan Club. Love
hell yeah.
after school.
Yeah,
Isn't Doki Doki Literature Club the one where someone hanged themselves?
It's intense. It's wild. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't want that as a show. Although the idea of like Plastic Man trying to hang himself, it doesn't work. It's kind of funny to me.
Wild.
Just stretches his neck out.
So see, you do want it.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
Ooh, thank you for the pals heads in the chat. Like seeing those green names. If you do have a green name, pals heads in the chat. Let them know.
Carter Mitchell called out, when we talked about potentially Kyle Rayner being the Green Lantern representation, said, not even considering it could be Simon Baz. Shaking my head.
Yeah, bro.
I think my thing about Simon Baz that makes me think it wouldn't necessarily be him is the full face mask and the fact that he carries around a gun.
Yeah, I was going to say the gun is what stops me. Maybe that's a flaw for the creation of the character and the characterization of the guy. But Simon Baz seems like a great guy to show up in Lanterns.
Yeah.
He gives like Sergeant of the Green Lantern Corps vibes to him.
What's wrong with the guns?
School shooting.
Oh.
Columbine.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Also called a
I don't know.
Tuesday in the U.S.
Yeah, right.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oops. Oh well. Yeah. So thanks. And Hecatron says, "Isn't Starfire going to be in the Teen Titans? I need some of y'all to calm down. She'll be in Teen Titans for sure.
Don't worry.
Yeah, she'll be there. We
Both
get two
places.
flavors of Starfire.
That's right.
You could have the cool kids animation version, and then the one in the movie that people
Yeah.
enjoy.
Two things can be true.
I was gonna say Goon over, but it's Teen Titans, so don't do that.
Don't.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Although we're streaming on YouTube, and they like to have people that. Never mind. Thanks for this, but guys, y'all weren't here last week, and I know we're in March now. Also, notice how we leave February, and the one black guy on the show is gone. What do we do there?
That's it. Oh,
Jeez.
Par for the
Damn,
course.
we're listening to the head honcho himself, no TEI. But Sean will be back next week. But we didn't get to yours is Captain America, top Captain America moments.
Ooh.
So I wanted to know what are your top ones?
I got mine locked and loaded, bro.
Yeah, go
Um,
for it.
it's from the movie when he gets the hammer, Endgame. He picks it up. He calls on the Avengers to assemble. Dude, it's one of the first times in I don't always watch movies in the theater. For the many listeners who might know this already, I like to be able to sit down, enjoy my stuff at home, but it's one of the few times ever where I've had such a reaction in the theater that, you know, just roars of applause, of people cheering, of people, excited, hooting and hollering, and it was it was crazy to be in that environment, and then it feel appropriate, like that was such a momentous occasion. One, especially if we were following the movies, but then also for the character, but then also for the story, and so it plays into so much. And yeah, that's my favorite moment for Cap.
Hot take.
Ro-
I hate when people are cheering in theaters.
Oh, agreed. Hard agreed. This was one of those few exceptions.
Nope.
Like, you know how people like go to like what was it Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Oh
and
yeah,
they'd be
yeah.
doing
I've
the
been I've been knighted with a giant double sided dildo at one of those. Yeah.
I don't want to do that shit, bro. Like I want to sit
Man,
down. I want to eat my popcorn. Maybe somebody I hear a little fart squeak by from somebody else, but I don't want to know that you're there.
you know what? What's funny about this is that I would rather do all that than go to any form of a concert.
Wait, what?
Huh. Or you're saying like you rather go to like immersive movie theater than a
Yeah,
concert? So like a
yeah,
sing along Mamma Mia. You're in.
sure. Here we
What?
go again.
No, 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 no.
I've been to one of those. They're
What?
pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be themed. You got to let me know beforehand that people are participating. I don't want that to
Now
be a surprise.
that I'll grant you. I want to know what I'm walking into.
Yes, yes. If I go to a Wicked screening and I hear some guy who didn't even get cast as the lead in his high school play start singing in the background, no.
Please
But
don't.
if you tell me beforehand it's a sing along, oh, I'll expect it and not buy a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It's like, oh, you're doing where? Oh, have fun with that.
You know, something else that's funny about Marco's pick is that okay? So when Avengers: Infinity War came out, I was talking about this with someone recently at work. I think it was yesterday, and I was describing to them how out on the MCU I have been, and it's been. I mean, it was building from Age of Ultron, right? But then it hit at Infinity War. I spilled my popcorn at a really pivotal moment, and I was like trying not to laugh because it was everywhere. And like I didn't like nothing happened, but my popcorn just exploded. And I think what happened was it it didn't only take me out of the film, it ripped me out of the MCU altogether. It was like all of a sudden I could see the strings holding everybody up in the MCU and I just wasn't interested anymore.
It's like when Doctor Strange hit Spider Man with the astral thing that knocked his body out.
Yeah.
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 Except he bumps his knee on the popcorn. Just,
Now I say that to say in Endgame, I went to the bathroom literally right before Cap picks up the hammer. So I walked in and all of a sudden, like Thor is like he's dirty and battle worn or whatever. And I vividly remember him going, oh my God, is he gonna? And then Cap picks up the hammer, and then that was supposed to be this big moment, and I was like,
the
it's
no
just like
con.
All because of
nothing.
popcorn.
I'm telling you, I have been cured.
It's funny. I go to like my local Alamo Draft House for movies,
Yeah.
and their popcorn are in the giant steel bowls.
Yeah.
And I went to go see Lord of the Rings the extended Return of the King extended edition with a friend the other day, and he dropped his popcorn right like when they're in the area with all the ghost soldiers and stuff,
Oh
and
yeah,
it
sure.
made the loudest noise during the quietest moment possible. It was fucking hilarious. So sometimes popcorn does do that. But Kale, what's your top Cap moment?
My top number one with a fist moment of Captain America is the original Captain America punching Hitler. That is the
Controversial.
top Captain America moment.
Whoa, political.
Get it out of my show. Ah.
Ah.
Good.
Why can't we be civil?
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
so
Hell yeah, fuck yeah.
I think a lot of the chat and the viewers, talked about their Cap moments last week, but it looks like we have a couple in here. Harris said, my top Cap moment is from the comics, where he reads the Bible to Nuke after their epic fight. Oh, you like religion in your American politics, huh? Jeez.
He was trying to save his soul. Introduce him to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Your
That's the
Lord and
American
Savior.
way.
That's right.
I believe in Xenon. What's the Scientology one?
I think
Zemu. Zemu? I don't know.
Zemu?
Zemu, yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, that's I like how Cale's just like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Cat punching Hitler?
Yeah.
Peak.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Peak.
duh.
Until he punches the next Hitler,
Well, I mean, as long as he keeps punching Hitler, he's going to be one of my favorite characters.
I would argue the best.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's our top Cap moments. But for this month, on the book club, polling, or not the poll out, but the nomination threads are out. For Bendis month, Bendis is coming month, we are going to be talking to the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not
actually-
coming to the show.
No, he's not coming. His works will be coming to the show.
Yeah.
We're working on getting
We're
him to
gonna-
come to the show.
It's going to be a Bendis book club.
Bendis Book Club is coming to the show. Yeah. So you get to go ahead and just nominate whatever book you want. It has to be written by Brian Michael Bendis. Nomination threads are on YouTube in the community tab or the post tab or whatever the hell tab it is now.
Yeah, I've also just shared the link to the Patreon for those of you as well.
Yep, which you don't even need to pay for the Patreon to vote for it there. That's just another option. And then also on Discord, there is in the book club channel, there is a thing that you can put your responses in. We're seeing some Ultimate Spider-Man. I saw a couple for Torso, actually. We're seeing some new Avengers stuff. Surprisingly less Daredevil than I expected. Probably because we just did a Daredevil book club, but
And I wonder if his Daredevil has been eclipsed a little bit.
in
Not
terms
in
of
that it's
Daredevil
not-
books or by other Bendis books.
With,
Sure.
I'm not saying it's bad in any form. That's not what I'm saying at the moment. But I am saying that, like, I think at the time, at his peak, I think he might have done better stuff. Like, there's more better stuff out there that as he grew as a writer.
I don't disagree. Yeah. I mean, Sean and I were just on Near Mint's Evergreen show on Thursday night, which you should check out on Near Mint Conditions channel, talking about Daredevil books. And we talked about Bendis's Daredevil run. And we had a little bit of trouble figuring out a particular story arc in there that would best represent his run. But I think there's a distinct lack of Batman Universe recommendations, I got to say. The Nick Darrington, Brian Michael Bendis Walmart book that I think is phenomenal.
Oh.
It's his best
I didn't-
DC work.
Yeah, I didn't read that. Let me ask you this. Are people equating... Is that book rated so highly because of the art?
It's a good point.
Or is the writing actually that strong?
That's a good point. It is Nick Darrington, who,
Yeah.
outside of that, the last thing he did was Doom Patrol from Gerard Way. And I would also argue, does it also look better in comparison to a Superman run?
Yeah, but
Maybe.
but it's such a singular product, right? Like I think, I think for the book club, like give us a little bit, but for the book club itself, or rather as a book itself, I can only imagine. Yeah, for sure. I think it's still carried weight for people, and so you pick up Brian Michael Bendis's Walmart book with Nick Darrington art.
Which you can get at not Walmart now. So you can get it anywhere at this point. It's collected. I think I'm personally gunning for New Avengers.
I was going to say, are you guys hoping for anything?
We haven't done an Avengers book on the book club.
So
Okay, I guess it's not needed. I don't know
Did we
that
not
early
do, like,
stuff.
Uncanny?
Uncanny Avengers, is it an Avengers book? Is it an X-Men book?
jeez.
I kind of feel
Uh,
like it's more of an X-Men book, but yeah, I think tackling like the early Raft breakout stuff would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I haven't gone back to it since I read it. So personally, I would enjoy that.
I kind of think I'm hoping for X-Men.
Ooh, all
Like, I
new
don't
or
know.
Uncanny?
That's the struggle, I think.
Could they almost got to be
Actually,
read hand in hand?
I think maybe the young one is that all
All
new?
new. Oh yeah, where Jean Grey outs Iceman. Yeah.
And you know what?
Oh,
I kind of want to relitigate that. I'm not saying she's right, but I want to relitigate it.
Oh no, she's 100% wrong for doing it.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting book. Yeah, I'm not against that either. I know there's some hot takes there, and we haven't done an X-Men book in a while. So, yeah, put those out. The nominations thread will probably get it by Tuesday. I know Sean is doing calculations, which since he's in Canada are going to be a little slower because of the coldness.
The exchange rate. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, because of taxations. I don't know. Tariffs. The
Yeah.
tariffs are making it a little trickier. But
Tariffs,
that
the
should be up
exchange rate.
Tuesday
difference.
night-ish, maybe Wednesday. We'll have 4 to vote on, which then you could vote on if you are a patron. And then we'll know by the following week what the book is. But yeah, should be fun. We've been talking about Amendus Month for a while, so it's cool to finally do it.
Yeah. That's actually one of the ones we've been doing. We've been sort of dancing around and talking about as long as we've been doing the book club in this form.
It has been in case of emergency break Bendis class sort of situation, but yeah, works.
Which does worry me. What are we going to talk about next month?
yeah.
More Bendis? I don't know. Guys, Comics Pro came out last week.
Let's
Comics
go.
Pro happened last week. Whole bunch of news. You guys weren't here for the show. Something along the lines of a crossover between DC and Marvel got announced. I guess that's a thing. People seem to be
weird.
excited for that. But there was some other news that we didn't quite get to on the show. So we're going to go into our Comics Pro runoff section.
Let's
Whoa.
go.
So there's a whole bunch of
Run it
news. News from Comics Pro, and a little bit from before, and a little bit from right afterwards. So there's kind of a hodgepodge of just general comic book news. But the first thing I want to talk about is we got some details on some more Hickman. You guys ready to pay the Hickman tax again? Because
Alright,
we have a book called Imperial coming out in June 2025. So we knew Imperial by Hickman was happening. We had that logo. It just said Imperial Hickman coming soon with like a space thing in the background. What we do know here is that this will be dealing with Jonathan Hickman presents the end of the beginning, and it will be a cosmic story that shows a Nova helmet amongst some rubble.
That's cool.
Does this do
Sorry, it
something
shows
for you?
a Nova helmet.
A
amongst the
Nova
rubble?
helmet amongst
Yeah.
some rubble.
Okay, yeah, great.
So we do know this is going to be a space book. So Hickman will be tackling space. The Imperial Guard is something he's wanted to tackle for a while. He's talked about not being able to do it during his Krakoa run because he had plans for it with Sunspot and Cannonball and Smasher and kind of tackling that there, but he didn't quite get to do that. So this is him confirmed to be going into space to do Cosmic Marvel.
Huh.
Sweet.
Thoughts on this? Does this wet your willies?
Annihilation Part 2.
Since Annihilation and that book club, the Nova and the Nova Corps as an idea has been fascinating to me. I've not been able to go back. I think you have some of that stuff saved on the Marvel app, Cale.
Like you can know
news
what
to
each
me.
other's reading.
And news to me.
There's like saved lists. Anyway, but I want to be able to go back and read some of that stuff because I had so much fun with it, with the concept, with the character, and so this to me is exciting because it's another flavor, it's another like introduction to that stuff, and so if this is gonna be one Hickman, he's in space, and it's Nova stuff. I'm interested to learn more, but also to see what he's thinking about Cosmic Marvel.
Dick Ryder is one of my favorite Marvel characters. Nova, Richard Ryder. Yes, his
Oh.
name is Dick Ryder. But having Hickman tackle that is going to be great. So we got some little tidbits of info here. Hickman described the series as blending House of X and Ultimate Spider-Man, which to me I says cool buzz sentence, and you just named the 2 books you just wrote.
House of X meets Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That does nothing for me.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. Oh, here's a book you
That
liked.
does
Here's
nothing-
another book you liked.
nothing to me.
This is that combined. I don't know how that fits in outer space.
Do you mean it's a book about a guy with brown hair and a beard? Okay.
Yeah, that I thought that was kind of funny. Just being like, hey, here's the thing you liked. It's more of that.
Yeah.
So Imperial will explore cosmic realms with influences from the Nova Corps and Shi'ar technology. It has some elements of a scrapped Imperial Guard and New Mutant storyline. So this, even though this segment is Comics Pro runoff, this also feels like Hickman runoff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which
This whole podcast could be called Hickman Runoff.
oh yeah, honestly, totally fine.
We
with
would
that.
still do numbers
Yeah.
and have content.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. I miss cosmic Marvel stories. We got Death of Silver Surfer was announced. We talked about it last week, Sean, BJ, and I.
Yeah.
And this is more space Marvel stuff.
I think the cool thing about this is when Hickman really tackles something, that means it's gonna get a thumbprint, right? It will be unique. It will be something special.
Well, gods maybe is debatable, but
No, I think whether or not it succeeds, I think is a different thing. Because I think what he was trying to do with gods and like the magic side of that side of the universe is something different, right? He was trying to put something out there, whether or not it lands. But similar with his Avengers stuff, and then his new Avengers stuff, and his Secret Avengers stuff, and then House of X and everything that surrounded that, like it's gonna have a unique take that will have banging characters and a nice identity that will be new and fresh in the Marvel universe.
is there any kind of space Marvel character you want to see show up? There's only one answer to this.
Then no.
The answer is Corsair, Cale. The answer is Corsair.
Oh, thank God. That was my answer.
Okay, or Chode. Chode can show up too. I don't mind a little Chode showing up.
Dope. All right.
Equality.
Yeah. Cole asks, do we know if this is an ongoing or limited series? Still no news on this front.
No news on that. Yeah.
Yeah, presumably and hopefully ongoing. But you never know. Hickman might be on this for a couple issues and then we're done.
Murphy in chat says, "Is Gods worth buying in trade? I think about it every time I go to Midtown. I think so. If you like Willie Arashidi, that's enough. I think he plays with some of the cosmic side of, not space side of Marvel, the cosmic side of Marvel, if you can understand the distinction, like Beyonder and all that stuff. That's played with a lot in Gods. So if you like that, definitely check it out. You guys want to dig up some old stuff real quick? Want we dig up a corpse maybe?
Uh-oh. I brought my shovel just in case, so.
You ever have to dig a grave?
Yes, but for like a pet.
Yeah, I remember once I had to dig a grave, and I had a bag, 2 dead rats in college, right? So I had to walk through my college campus, go into the woods with this clear bag, by the way, it's a clear bag, 2 dead rats, and I had to dig a grave for them in the winter, and I didn't know what roots were. Very hard thing to do. So it's probably much easier to dig up a grave, like what Marvel's doing with Gwen Stacy. I'll talk about a segue, guys. Look at that. A little personality, a little bit of a storytelling into the segue.
Sure, there was definitely a better
Yeah.
a better river there for
No,
that.
I miss those rats. Jaina Proudmoore the rat, such a sweet thing. Guys, we talked about last time we were on the show, right? Well, we talked about Gwen Stacy's grave and how she might be coming back. They might be bringing her back. Well, surprise! It's just for a new version of Gwenpool.
They're just gonna keep beating this dead horse, huh?
Oh, she ain't dead no more. So this is a new Gwenpool series coming out in May this year. This is written by Cavan Scott.
Haven't Scott.
Cavan Scott. Cavan Scott.
Cavendish.
Yeah, it's there. So what they're doing is Gwen Stacy is coming back as a gritty, hardened version of Gwenpool. That's probably more akin to like early versions of Deadpool, being like an assassin. And then it looks like let me get the press release here. This May, Cavan Scott and Stefano Nessi launch a new Gwenpool comic book series that introduces a twisted new take on the fan favorite hero by Marvel. Her death is the most heart-wrenching moment in comic book history. Her return will be the most outrageous. Teased last week, all right, yada yada yada. The madmen responsible are New York Times bestselling author Cavan Scott, who did the Star Wars High Republic book for Marvel, and rising star artist Stefano Nessi, who will bring back Spider-Man's first love as a cold-blooded killer this May in a new Gwenpool series. Gwen Stacy returns as a darker, deadlier, and even more unhinged Gwenpool, and who better to help Spidey navigate the soul-crushing revelation than the medium-shattering, attention-seeking Marvel Comics Superman that is the original Gwenpool.
I like that. Her death is the most heart wrenching moment. Her return will be the most outrageous. We're just getting wild and wacky out here. Yeah, sure, you had feelings about this. Let's step on those real quick and just shit something out.
That's a good way of describing it. Like shitting something out. I don't know about this, guys. I'm always long time listeners of the show, including myself. I'm of the could be good kind of boat most of the time.
That sounds familiar to me, but I can't put my finger on why.
Ever since you dropped that popcorn, you forgot a lot of stuff, huh? So yeah, it could be good, but like this just seems like all right. You're gonna bring back Gwen Stacy, or allegedly. This is just a press release. This is just a way to, it's probably gonna be I don't know one of the Jackal's clones that they brought back, and they'll write that off as Gwen Stacy never actually being revived.
Or the Gwen Stacy Norman Osborn kid.
Sure, yeah, which was I think Nick Spencer tackled last.
Okay, yeah.
Or Gwen, Ghost Spider. I don't know. There's so many Gwen Stacys now. It's like, stop it.
Well, yeah, the one that makes sense. I call that one out specifically because, in the original Sins Past story, they did have Peter's ability to a certain degree.
Oh, interesting. The kids did.
Yeah,
I've not read that story. We should do a book club month of controversial stories.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea. However, I think that would lose us quite a bit of audience members. But I don't remember to what degree, but I do recall that when Peter first sees them, they're in like super suits, right? So I think there is like a precedent there that they have powers to some degree, and if if Nick Spencer's tapped into some of that, we may have some more. Yeah.
I'm not like maybe we'll put it on the Pals Polls poll. I don't want to read this. The costume is even like this. Just this looks like a Deadpool action figure they would give out as part of your Marvel Unlimited subscription.
It's
like,
like
here's a variant.
It's a 99-cent store, like Deadpool color scheme. It's like oh, this is Deadpool, right? Here you go.
Yeah, whatever.
I bet we read this for numbers alone.
You know what?
Hey,
probably not wrong.
You're right.
One. Make this the thumbnail.
There it is. But use the good one, the one where she's in pink and white.
Are you? Well, that's the actual Gwenpool. That's the thing though. There's two Gwenpools in this one Gwenpool story.
I'm saying is use a better one.
I do like. I have her skin in Fortnite. I hate saying I have her skin. It's not a good sentence. My own hurt. Nope, that doesn't work either. Anyway, Gwenpool coming out in May. Do anyone have any familiarity with Kevin Scott in terms of reading his work?
I've read some of his Doctor Who stuff.
Okay.
Granted, that stuff is ancient at this point, but it is very good.
Comics or books?
Yeah,
Comics.
yeah. I know the High Republic stuff
Oh, that
is
started
also it and to my knowledge has held up.
it started out strong. I dropped it after like maybe issue 10.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And he did a lot of stuff with his writing partner George Mann. I think his name is. And that guy's really good.
Is
He's
that
a
just
really
a
nice guy?
3 raccoons in a trench coat? That feels like that what they would name
Yeah.
George Mann. Oh, I'm just Mr. Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Both really, really good fellas. Solid storytellers. So, whether this will be, I can't imagine it will be like take it to the bank style storytelling. But,
It'll pop a number.
it'll pop a
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle in the chat says, I'm down. A lot of controversial or bad runs really aren't as bad as the zeitgeist has made them out to be.
All right about that.
Gore Vidal says a strong writer like Garth Ennis could pull this stunt, but a weak writer is asking for grief. I disagree. I think
yeah.
I this is not something Garth Ennis could pull off.
I think Garth Ennis is a good enough storyteller to know not to do this.
Yep. And that's not to say sorry, that's not to say that Kevin Scott is bad by any means, but this is not good.
It's an opportunity that I think Scott's taking to be able to do something with his character, whether or not it's like revelatory is not really I think the point, but it's to get that stronger foot in the door and to do something that is at the very least fun. That's a good sign.
MX Mothman says it's like they took the issues with how Red Hood was handled and gave it illicit substances. This is the Jason Todding of Gwen Stacy is essentially what this is.
I mean, this is the Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like...
Sure, fine, cool, whatever. You want to talk some X-Men instead? About okay, well, skip over this one then. No, so Giant Size X-Men coming out in this year. So it's a series. Get ready for this.
70s?
Get ready for this. We're talking about retconning classic characters. Giant Size X-Men will be a series of 5 giant size one shots that are going to alter Marvel continuity. Cale.
Oh, yeah.
To insert Miss Marvel into key moments of X-Men's history.
No. Hold on. Now I got to open the link. Now I got to see what this bullshit's about.
No, you don't. That's exactly what's happening. So,
all 5 issues are about this.
So there's 5 issues. There is Giant Size X-Men #1, which is the typical Giant Size Wolverine smashed through the paper, but now Miss Marvel's there too. We got Giant Size Dark Phoenix Saga #1. Giant Size Age of Apocalypse #1.
And there.
Giant Size House of M #1.
What?
I'll be damned if Miss M isn't in there.
And then Giant Size X-Men #2. It's ending on a #2. Surprise. It's I don't believe this is what it is. Does that sentence make sense? This is, I think this is going to be they're not going to rewrite continuity. I don't think there's any way they do that actually. What I think this is, I think it's a way for Miss Marvel to be there and feel those events in actuality to then be able to come into herself and more understand who she is as a mutant. I think it's going to be more of like a vision quest through her maybe traveling through time and seeing all these key moments of mutants past to understand where she exists as a mutant in continuity, to give herself that internal history and make her more ingrained in mutantdom. There's no way they actually changed what happens though. There's 5 big events that happen here. They can't rewrite that much continuity one shot.
Counterpoint: Gwen Stacy's coming back.
Fuck
Nothing
you.
is holy. Nothing is holy. She's gonna be there. She's gonna get recruited by Professor X, whoever it is, alongside Colossus and Storm and Sunfire and everybody else. I'm like, yeah, we need you to go to this island.
So let me give some more context here. So this is going to get there's a sneak peek of it happening in Free Comic Book Day coming up, and I think we even gotten a little bit of a sneak peek of it during the Timeless book that we read a little bit back. Marco, remember the Timeless book we read, the Cable?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's
there was a little
right.
peek to it there. So this will be written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who have been working on NYX. They had a really underrated Captain America run. A lot of fun there. And the read is from the emergence of Krakoa and Giant Size X-Men #1 to Days of Future Past, Age of Apocalypse, House of M, and the Dark Phoenix saga, history has shaped and shattered the X-Men time and time again. But what if those moments held deeper secrets? What if the past could be rewritten? Acclaimed scribes Kelly and Lansing joined forces with superstar artists, including legendary X-artist Adam Kubert, for an epic saga that takes fans on a mind-bending journey through the X-Men's greatest events, revealing mysteries long buried and secrets that will define the future of Marvel's mutants. Each of these 5 one-shots also features a Revelations backup story by X-Men creators past and present that uncover hidden moments that will alter the X-Men's future.
Uncanny Shoop. We don't gatekeep here. She is a mutant. I don't know if you read The Death of Miss Marvel. She's a mutant.
No, that she just died there, Marco. She got
Oh,
brought
that's
back
right.
in
That's right.
the other book
Was
that came out a month
yeah,
later.
Spider-Man or some shit.
Um, if it's what I think it was Jackson Lansing went on social media, did a little video about this. Great speaking voice. Guy knows how to market himself. He pretty much said that this is really Kamala's journey. So I'm cool with that. Like, it's going to be Kamala's journey and how she feels in with the X-Men. It's similar to what I said before and what I had hoped. Kind of confirmed it's going to be something similar to that. But these backup stories that adding little tidbits of, ooh, you didn't know this was happening during House of M. You didn't know this was happening during Dark Phoenix Saga, which better be Wolverine and Jean Grey being a thing. That worries me because those little things feel like that could be clear little retcons or little additional continuity bits.
I bet it's like something was happening in the background, and oh, it was Miss Marvel who gave her, or it was Kamala Khan who gave her the key. Like that's the reveal, if anything.
Like
Try to keep it.
Interstellar, seeing his past self there, and
Yeah. It's gonna be so small that they become inconsequential. It's that she's gonna fit in the environment. But if that's the case, that feels like a lack of commitment to something. And then my question becomes, why use her then? Why include her if that's the case?
I think just a more ingrainer with X-Men, especially the movies coming up too.
But do that in the future. Like do that in
I
our
guess.
in our present, looking towards the future. And for sure, Giant Size X-Men, you get a pop, you get a sale, you get Dark Phoenix Saga, Age of Apocalypse, House of M, sure, right. That
I
makes sense
think
from a sales perspective, but what are we doing for the story?
I think it'll also refresh X-Men lore and sort of get people's minds away from Krakoa as well.
Yeah, you kind of bring us back to the beginning, really.
Yeah.
More in line with what we experienced through like '97
Yep.
and the X-Men animated stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
you might be right. Although House of M and Age of Apocalypse are both 2 AU stories.
Yeah, but they're like them or not, like they're classic ones that were quote unquote successful, right? Krakoa was too far for Marvel, and that's why it's gone.
The House of M one is going to be just Kamala whispering into Wanda's ear, "They're trying to take your kids away." They called mutant CPS.
um, I also wanted to call out the was it Adam Kubert
Yeah,
in the art?
yeah.
Uh, that this is gonna sound nuts. That also makes it sound to me like they don't have confidence in it.
In
Not a
what
fan.
sense? Like they need a good artist just to be able to sell it?
Yep.
Okay. That's not a knock on Adam Kubert. That's saying he's holding up the book.
Yep.
Okay.
Because they know they're pulling some bullshit. Like,
Yeah, I'll probably read the first one at least, just to get a taste of what it is.
no, we're reading all 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
probably.
it's gonna be on the show.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean they're giant size. They're extra large issues too. So yeah. So Fable in the chat here says, I seriously don't get why people hate Mutant Kamala. If Marvel had the movie rights when she was made, she'd easily be an X-Man right now instead of an Inhuman. She was supposed to be. I think that was the original pitch for her, was a mutant. And then it was the Inhumanity time, and they just had to pivot.
I don't have an opinion. I actually like the mutant storyline. I think what I don't like is this retroactive bullshit to make her fit for the MCU. The
Yeah,
MCU might not even be around by the time the X-Men finally come.
her being a mutant is not the problem as much as it was the execution of how that plays out. It didn't feel like there was a story to tell there outside of this needs to happen for X purpose. The Inhuman, the mutant angle, whatever. She has powers, right? That's what you need to get across. It feels like I need to change the title.
I think the same thing about the Franklin Richards conversation.
That was cool though.
Like I think
Okay, you're an
Chip pulls it
Onslaught
off.
saga apologist, Marco.
Wow.
Onslaught, but then also that beginning, like the opening sequences of Krakoa.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it pulls it. I think Chip pulls it off, and I think it makes a distinction as to who the mutants are going for and like what their mission is. But I think what it did for Franklin, and the conversation around that and the details in that, I think are dumb.
I don't have an issue with Kamala as mutant either. I would just rather her, like what they're doing with NYX currently. I would rather her experience that and what that means for her in a present day continuity sense. Like I want her to react to it the same way we're reacting to it. It's news to her, and she's a college kid having to come to terms with that. Like that's the story I want.
Tilo brings up a really good point here. I like Kamala as her own character. As a mutant, she has disappeared, and she will disappear. Like she used to have her own book. She has had her own series. She has had her own autonomy. Now she is gone from this,
Maybe not autonomy.
but
Sure,
but
yeah.
she's she wasn't necessarily defined by the team that she participated
Right.
in.
Right.
My argument for that is she's never really been able to hold up a book since the original run. And Marvel is doing plenty of mutant solo series right now. So that's not to say she won't have her own book.
But it's
They're also cutting back on those too.
but it's also Kamala Khan mutant, not Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan, her
Miss Marvel.
own Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Like she can be a mutant and be Miss Marvel, but now she is the mutant Miss Marvel, and that feels like a loss.
I'll tell you, I think the thing we could see and the thing that will mean like the death, quote unquote, of this character is if she changes her name from Miss Marvel.
Yeah. But to be fair, Carol Danvers also has a lot of history with the X-Men. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
keeping her as Miss Marvel is perfectly fine. Plus, Marvel Girl is a thing with X-Men. I think the name can stand, but you're right, Cale. If they do change that, that's going to be a big thing.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's not to say that the name can't stay, but I think it's so integral to her character that I think if she joins, if she becomes a mutant and joins the X-Men or whatever, I think that will be the complete absorption of Kamala Khan, and that's when the she will be lost.
Yeah. If she gets fully absorbed, they change her name. They give her, an X code name. That's that is the end of the era of Kamala Khan as an independent person from a larger integrated Marvel.
Yep.
She becomes another grunt at that point.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Beak.
Which I don't think they can afford to
Hey,
do with
well,
her
easy,
being in the films.
easy.
Okay, no, don't compare her to Beak.
Well, not yet. I'm just saying she could become Beak.
Kale. Next news item. I want to hear your thoughts on. Do you want to
Right
head
now?
over to IDW?
Oh.
Good publisher. Maybe not the best logo, but let's talk about Godzilla.
Oh,
So
God, that's what this is about.
IDW, yeah, unveiled during Comics Pro a whole new universe of Godzilla comic books. So this is the Kaisei era of Godzilla, launching this year with 3 new Godzilla titles, which that's a
Oh,
lot
that's
off the
not
bat.
Yeah, okay.
So the first one is just Godzilla proper. It's the first ongoing Godzilla series in a decade that has a new Godzilla design and characters. And this one is written by Tim Seeley with art by Nicola Chismeza. Sorry about that. I butchered that one.
Chismesia.
Not far off from what I said, but sure, we'll give it a go. So it says, kicking off a new connected universe in July is the first Godzilla ongoing series in a decade from New York Times bestselling writer Tim Seeley and amazing artist Nicola Chismezia. In 1954, an experiment with a mysterious energy source called Kaisei awakened Godzilla and other terrifying kaiju. For decades, humanity has endured an onslaught of monster attacks. While Japan views these unstoppable rampages like natural disasters, the United States' G-Force is attempting to fight these seemingly immortal titans. Now they found a boy who wields the power of Godzilla. Will he save the world or bring about its doom? Featuring a wild new take on Godzilla's universe, this upcoming ongoing series will surprise readers with a fearsome new Godzilla design, new characters with powers, and plenty of kaiju twists and turns along the way.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. From the cover alone, I saw
Cover's
it.
nice.
She's gonna transform into this motherfucker, fight kaiju. I'm hyped for this. It's basically Godzilla mechas.
Almost like a mecha Godzilla.
Hold on. That means something else.
We'll
That
get there.
means something
There's
different.
2 more books we're going to talk about. I'm interested. Go ahead, Cal.
Wrong. Kaiju number 8.
Oh, very good.
Oh, yeah, I guess it does.
And I can already tell you, Kaiju number 8 does it better.
Oh, come on.
I am uninterested
Come on. No.
in a Godzilla ongoing series.
Why?
What? Think about the current slate of Godzilla films we have right now. So in Japan at the moment, coming from Japan at the moment, we've got Shin Godzilla and we have Godzilla -1.
Yeah, with the sequel coming up soon. Yeah.
Those are 2 films that have a distinct theme and message surrounding Godzilla, but with people forward. That makes sense to the original idea of Godzilla. My issue with the MonsterVerse Godzilla, what's this guy's name? The guy that did Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh, the MonsterVerse era that
Yes, yeah.
Warner is
My
doing,
issue
yeah.
with those is it's the MCU with Godzilla. And I think the thing is, you can always make the argument that like the 80s and 90s and the 2000s Japanese Godzilla films were just like the same thing but with worse graphics. But those worse graphics and terrible, CG, and I think to me those have more heart and more passion in them. I'm just not interested in computer green screen slop. That's what an ongoing Godzilla feels like to me. Like there's no reason to have Godzilla all the time.
But I think that's what this is going to be. It's not all the time. It's going to be.
He's the title character.
No. But in the sense that you know, it's not going to be a transformation every single time. You can have the story arc with your protagonist who wields the power in the same way that you have a kaiju number 8.
Kale.
I'm just reading the synopsis again.
So one thing that's not
who
in the
wields-
synopsis though is
Pardon?
that Jet Jaguar is going to be in one of the G-Force members.
I saw the comments. Like
I'm just trying to
I'm
sell
not
you.
immune.
I'm trying to
I'm
sell
not
you.
immune to the appeal of Jet Jaguar, but I have to appease, my higher sense of snobbishness.
You're a weeb for Godzilla.
This level of grumpiness can't be contained by Jet Jaguar. I'm sorry.
Well, thankfully there are other flavors of this Kaisei era of Godzilla, because there's another number one.
The chat's going into you, dude. It's so funny.
There's another number one called Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone. So stopping into comic shops in August will be Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone from Eisner-nominated writers Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan from Kill Your Darlings, and incredible artist Pablo Tunica, introducing the first ever half-human, kaiju hybrid in Toho history. Godzilla Escape the Dead Zone will explore the biggest mystery of the new connected universe. What is the truth behind the post-apocalyptic Dead Zone? The search for answers will forever change how fans view this new universe as they experience this thrilling and shocking ride.
So now we
Yeah.
have 2 half human, half kaiju stories.
Well, this one is half human, half kaiju. The other one can wield the power of Godzilla.
Transform.
That seems like a transform. This guy looks like a human with a tail. So we got
So two kids
visible
with
mutant,
God-
and mutant is invisible power.
So 2 kids with Godzilla powers.
No. One kid.
Kel,
who
we're not
is-
getting about this.
One kid who's Ben 10 and one kid who is a monster.
Yeah, one kid's Ben 10, one kid's Reptile.
Sorry, guys.
Again,
Again, kaiju number 8.
this one's definitely weaker for me. I'm not as interested in seeing a half kaiju, half human, story about that. Like, I'm not here for the intersection of those things, right? Like the other book that we just talked about had it perfectly. You can segment and separate the kaiju from the human. I don't need them existing in the same space.
Matt Fisher with the 199 says, I'm back. What did I miss? Kale crapping on Godzilla, apparently. Godzilla absolutionist. Or, no, I don't know.
Absolutist.
Absolutist, yes. I don't know words. You don't like the Matthew Broderick one?
I love the Matthew
I
Broderick,
do love that one. It's a good one. It's a good one.
but
but-
for a very different reason. It's not a good movie.
No, it's a horrible movie. And also, didn't he kill someone in Ireland? Hit someone with a car? Look that up.
I don't know if it was in Ireland, but that is true.
Look
Yeah.
that up. There's a third book though. Maybe this one can do it for you guys.
Oh,
Got
Matt, that's not cool.
Starship Godzilla. All right. Launching in October, this cosmic adventure, Starship Godzilla, from award-winning writer Chris Gooch and inventive artist Oliver Ono. For the first time in Toho canon, again, this trip through the stars will bridge the gap between the various alien races. They've come to Earth in the past tales, but now it's time to visit their worlds as a crew of misfits embark on a high-risk, high-reward kaiju-based missions with a secret that could impact the whole universe.
Yeah, this slaps. Fucking.
This does sound cool.
Speak on that.
Well, because it's using the existing property, right? Mecha Godzilla, and it's not relying on Godzilla itself, and it's taking the vehicle of Mecha Godzilla and it's putting it somewhere different, and it's introducing new and alien new and alien concepts to freshen up the canon, the whole thing. We're going to see something genuinely new out of this that doesn't feel like it's forcing Godzilla to be in a place that she doesn't need to be.
and it has the least Godzilla out of all three.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Flaming Jelly Beans in the chat says, unfortunately, these Godzilla books look sick. It's the most positive, unfortunate ever. And Electrics is saying, getting some Danny Warren Johnson vibes from that cover.
Some of the preview pages on this, the Starship section where it's just like parking, looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I think this one is probably the most interesting out of them for me as well. It looks like it has, bits of just like space sci-fi that I enjoy. Like the fact there's a cat in it is going to sell me. I know that worked for Uncanny Suit as well. There's a cat, I'm sold. But that also, like, cat in spaceship, that's Alien. That's what's the cat's name in Alien? It's not Goose. That's Captain Marvel.
Yeah, whatever it was.
But like that, the cat in a spaceship, the fact they're going across the stars and seeing all these different aliens that we have seen, just never mentioned their planets, very interesting. And then the the Oliver Ono art could kind of have that same vibe. That seems the most, I'm with Cale, like the most outside the box and therefore the most interesting.
Yep.
Also, the colors on it are great. It's just like, man, it's kind of giving Cowboy Bebop a bit too, the way it's segmented.
That cover, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy in the background there in that second panel on the cover, it's got jet vibes.
Yeah, right. Just the way it's cut off like that.
Yeah,
There's a Godzuki versus Godzilla discussion happening in the chat. Honestly, whichever book Godzuki shows up in, I'll read.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. All right, one more book is coming back, even though Godzilla is coming back to comics. So is you got
sorry. Just quickly, genuinely, if you were into those first two titles, go read Kaiju number 8. It's phenomenal.
Who did that?
It's a manga, so I'm not positive who it is, but and that's my own failings. But
Naoya Matsumoto.
Oh, there's just a Fortnite skin for these guys.
Yeah. I think an anime just came out recently.
Yeah.
It's your millennial burnout story. A guy who was he and his best friend swore each other they were going to become the best kaiju fighters in all of Japan or whatever, and he ends up being a janitor. He cleans up after all of the kaiju incidents. He gets eaten and turned, into some radioactive goo, and it turns him into a kaiju. And he uses that to fight the kaiju. And he gets the impetus to join the kaiju fighter team, and it's incredible.
It's by Nadia Matsumoto. Naoya Matsumoto.
Naoya Matsumoto Sensei.
That's interesting. I've been familiar with the property, not the pitch, so that sounds
very good.
Yeah.
It's very good. I think you especially, Tyler, will like it. I see a lot of me in the
millennial
character.
Burnout story.
I think you will like it.
You don't say. Let's talk about one more book coming back, and that's the Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy is coming back with a new story called Plan B. Written by Gerard Way, art by Gabriel Ba, Dave Stewart, Nick Picos as well. This is the first time Umbrella Academy has been back since the show, right? Since the show has been out?
I don't think so. There was a short book or a fourth book, I think, Hotel Oblivion.
I believe that was right before the show. But yes, I remember Hotel Oblivion, yeah.
But then there was what's the guy's name? Claude?
Yes.
The ghost guy?
Oh, yeah. There was a Claude thing, wasn't there?
Yeah. He had a mini-series.
This one says, this brand new Umbrella Academy tale picks up directly after the events of Hotel Oblivion and is co-written by Way and Ba, illustrated by Ba, colored by Dave Stewart, and lettered by Nate Picos. Issue number 1 will feature 6 variant covers, yada yada. After the mass release of the city's greatest foes and chaos that followed in Hotel Oblivion, the Umbrella Academy faces their most fearsome challenge to date, their other brothers and sisters. Known only as the Sparrows, they share a different connection to Sir Reginald Hargreaves and Mom. No one knows how to hurt each other more than family, and this powerful, ruthless brood will spare no brutality in favor of their sole objective: control and the obedient glare that comes with it. Do you guys have any history with Umbrella Academy as a comic?
Yeah,
Uh,
I love the Umbrella Academy. Yeah,
I'm with you. As soon as I knew like I could put something on the show, I was like, oh, Umbrella Academy.
I always wanted more out of the Umbrella
Yeah,
Academy. Like I think Black Hammer is what I wanted out of the Umbrella Academy.
especially with Hotel Oblivion because it's been years since Hotel Oblivion came out.
I haven't
Um,
read that one actually.
it's really
Um,
it's not the best.
the show put me off actually.
Yes, yes. Which the show isn't bad either, but it just feels like such an other thing.
Yeah,
And it kind of does its own stuff too with the show. It kind of has its
yeah,
own story, and yes, it has pieces of the comic, but the Umbrella Academy to me is so visually driven by Gabriel Ba
yeah,
that you can never capture that in a live action. Unfortunately, I do. They think they do a good job, but I'm just excited for more Ba, and I love Gerard Way's writing. This is Gerard
yeah.
Way is a guy he's got two
They
big creative influences on him, musically and comic book wise, and that's Vertigo Comics and 9/11. And this guy really understands that Vertigo kind of feel, like his whole Young Animals thing that he did at DC, Doom Patrol, and then kind of helped spearhead, like Mother Panic, Shade the Changing Girl, all that stuff was really started in Umbrella Academy. Um, and I think they still hold up. Volume 2 of Umbrella Academy, I think it's Dallas,
Yep.
is one of my favorite comics of all time. It's so good, and there's such a rich story about family, and it's a good quote in this little pitch is no one knows how to hurt each other more than family. That's what that book has always been about, and adding with this volume another whole piece of the pie there is going to be interesting. I'm pretty damn excited for this, and also the variant covers. There's a Dustin Nguyen cover that is just so good.
my understanding of at least the latest seasons of the show is it seems to cover something similar to this,
It does,
where
yeah,
they go to an alternate future where they or an alternate universe where they meet their better halves, I guess. Um, and I wonder if this is like the actual text of that.
yeah. I mean, Gerard Way actually spoke about this. He said, "Telling the story of what Gabriel would become as it is today, such a special part of my life. This is not only because we would evolve as artists, but because we had the opportunity to grow up over a pretty crazy adventure together. Each chapter of the story seems to form and coalesce into its own organism, sometimes as a screaming baby on a subway car, other times as a bird kicked out of its nest. And it's because of this I am just as excited for Plan B as I was when I went on this trip together with Apocalypse Suite, which is the first volume. I haven't felt this excited about our story since the early days of Apocalypse Suite. Added Ba, this is Umbrella Academy at its finest."
Yeah,
Marco, have you ever
hell
read
yeah.
this?
I've no connection to it. Even like the Netflix
Dude,
show and all that stuff. Like
I think it's so down your alley.
I've heard that. I've been recommended this like
Hmm.
a number of times. And I like Gerard Way. All the Young Animal stuff I've thoroughly enjoyed. But this was just one of those things that I totally missed.
You will or not.
You ever
James
read
don't know.
The Unwritten, Marco?
I've heard of it,
Vertigo book
but
as well. It's also great. Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon did that.
Yeah.
The Unwritten. No, I
So
haven't. I've heard of it. I'm aware of this one,
uh,
but I've not read it.
even outside the way stuff, I think Gabriel Ba is right down your alley for sure. Yeah,
Ba for sure. I've definitely heard of of his work, and that I think is interesting. As like
Ba is the tagline to the sheep translation to Mr. Miracle.
um, yeah, that stuff's cool. But I mean, it's just one of those things that I know so much about the fanfare of of the property, but I've never experienced it.
Izzy in the chat said, "I love the show. Haven't read the comics." Izzy, I think you would like this actually.
Yeah.
I recommend Apocalypse Suite in Dallas to pretty much everyone. I think it was some of my earliest like non superhero. I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of are superheroes, but non Marvel DC
Well, they are.
stuff. Yeah,
I mean, they are. I think the thing about them is that they're in that Morrison school of uh superheroes that are weird. your main your number one. He's not even your main character, right? That's one thing about it is there's no one main character. The whole story is about all five of them. But
Yep.
the leader of the group is a guy who got his body transformed or surgically implanted onto gorillas after an accident, I think.
It was an accident. Yeah, he was just like a leader, Cyclopsy type thing, not power set, but
that's
in
it.
terms of strategist. Yeah,
And that's it. That's just
That's-
his life.
yeah. And it really is a story about a family that's kind of been pulled together by one man, and how it fucked all of them up. Like their dad fucked them all up.
Yep.
In good ways and in bad ways, and it's the relationships between everyone, and because of that, it's just it's good stuff. And Murphy in the chat says I've been reading "Where Are Your Boys Tonight," which is a book about the oral history of emo music. And apparently Gerard Way had an approved Spider-Man run, but didn't do it because he didn't want to get bullied by fans.
Wow.
But you know what? He was right.
It's true. It's true.
The last time I went to Thought Bubble, no, it was the time before that. I want to say in 2017, when Thought Bubble was big enough that it was sort of taking over the whole town of Leeds, or like the whole city center. There were people getting in fistfights in line waiting for Gerard Way.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Oh, people need to chill, bro.
yeah. So,
No, I would probably do that. I'm a big My Chemical Romance fan, so glad they're going on tour. I can't afford tickets because Ticketmaster is the worst. If you're talking about who I want Captain America to punch, whoever runs Ticketmaster,
Ugh.
sock them right in the jaw.
Dude, even MCR missed the boat.
You're about like 2 years too young for it, I think.
yeah.
Like you probably still like Linkin Park, right?
I mean, I heard of them, but I don't like them.
What were
I
you
don't
listening
think that-
to?
I don't. Where's Matt Fisher in the chat? He knows what Marco listens to. I think Marco's taste is
Thelonious Monk.
No.
too. Marco's taste is too eclectic for
at
our
the-
kind of stuff, Tyler.
At the
I had a
time-
boombox and a Walkman and then an iPod. Marco had a gramophone.
Yeah.
At the time, that was all like the starts of like reggaeton and shit. So like that was all I was listening to. I was going back. I was about to start to learn the guitar, so I was listening to
Bro was
classic
listening
rock.
to just Mozart and Aventura.
Yeah, dude. Some Aventura. Some was it Don Omar? You know. Like
Oh, Don Omar, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm Puerto Rican too. I understand these references.
yeah.
Anyway, Umbrella Academy. I hope we get to talk about this on the Comics Pals polls every Thursday. I'm sure we will. It's the number one, right? I'm gonna
bound to
gun
be.
for it. I'm gonna gun for it.
I bet it makes for a poll for sure. Depends on what comes.
Gets
comes
my
out.
poll going too.
Hey.
But yeah. How about we talk about one last thing before we head out?
Again?
One more thing. Yeah, one more thing. I don't have a trench coat.
One more thing.
We're talking about Donnie Cates.
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. See you next week, everyone.
Whoa.
Donnie Cates went to Instagram, posted a cat pic, which is the sluttiest thing a guy can do, and said, "Just wanted to check in with all of you and let you know that your boy is back on the dance floor. Expect announcements this summer, and then another one after that. What do you think? Anyone want to guess? If you get it right, I'll buy your first issue. Hashtag kids love chains. Hashtag comics. Hashtag fuck yeah," which I don't think will work as a hashtag because of the expletive. And then hashtag comeback king. Where he going, guys? Where do you think he going?
What's around?
Summertime announcements.
Is this DC's chance?
No, he's not.
No.
He's not leaving. He's sticking around.
Leaving what?
He's
been
not
gone?
anywhere right now. Yeah.
He done left.
So, two things. I think Marvel needs Donnie Cates.
I agree with that.
Donnie Cates does not need Marvel. Marvel needs Donnie Cates right now in terms of getting a creator outside of Hickman that has
And Jed
draw.
McKay.
Well,
Sorry,
they
that
use.
has. I didn't wait to listen to the second part of that sentence.
Yeah. They use
Sorry.
Jed McKay. I like Jed McKay's work. There's no. He wrote Black Cat with a canonically huge ass. So, fan. Um, and but I think Marvel needs like a name. They're building names. Like Dennis Camp is building a world with Ultimates, but then he's doing his creator own book, which has great buzz, and I'm excited for. And then he's doing Martian Manhunter. He's not a Marvel guy, you
And
know.
he's crossing over.
Yeah, he's cutting his teeth a bit in terms of public image at Marvel with Ultimates,
Yeah.
but he's got his own thing. They need like DC just signed Jeremy Adams to an exclusive. I think Marvel needs to snag this dude.
But we done been knew that.
Sure, but at least it was announced as an exclusive. Marvel needs Donny Cates, but the hashtag Kids Love Chains makes me think he's going to be doing creator own stuff.
Maybe to start to like get back into it, into the groove, but I do think that Marvel needs him as a writer. I think that he was going to be one of the other architects here, and if that's the case, creator own, get back into it, do your thing. But if you're gonna come back to Marvel, you got to get a big book. And right now, whatever's going on with Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, maybe that's where he jumps in at some point.
See that?
Spider-Man would be interesting. I know there was always rumors of him at the Ultimates line when that was in its infancy.
That's right.
The last thing he did for Marvel was Hulk, but I think that was right around the time of his accident.
Well, and if he's as attached as people think he is or was, him coming back to put his stamp on the Maker's return makes a lot of sense.
Phase 2 maybe is what Phase 1 was meant to be. Who knows? The whole timer for the Maker returning. What if Donny Cates is the Maker and they were waiting for him to return? Ooh, tinfoil hat time. I can see him maybe going back to Vanish too with Ryan Stegman, his image book.
Oh, sure.
Maybe doing another volume with that for sure. I think that's probably a good thing to do, especially that was under his Kids Love Chains imprint, I guess, at Image. So his own little thing going on. And then I would like another volume of Crossover. Did you ever check out Crossover, either of you?
Oh, hell yeah.
Crossover was
good.
rad, man.
That finished, no?
It did. Well, the volume finished. Like, it has a clear end, but they left it on a cliffhanger, so there could
That's
be
right.
more.
Yeah.
Crossover was sick. Just having
wouldn't mind
Madman
that.
show up with Savage Dragon and Spawn and Rick Negan was in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just fun stuff. That's the Roger Rabbit of Image Comics. So I was down with it.
I could see that. I would want something new. I want something new so that I could. There's only so much Donny Cates that I enjoy, and it's in specific flavors. And so, I would want something new to see where he's at versus him come back to something that probably has had a trajectory, has had a style, and him feel like he has to do something different with it.
Yeah, I mean, based on what he's talked about in his accident, that's rough. Like, he does not remember months of his life. And regardless of how you feel about the guy, that's just not, like, I can only wish the best for him after something like that. And if creatively he finally feels like he's mentally in a good spot to get back to what he does loving, more for him.
At least he has that, right? Like,
Yeah. But, like, that's like if you're an artist, you lose use of your hands,
Yeah.
Like your brain not working with you when you are a creator and a writer. That's rough. And I guarantee you we get a Image Comics book that tackles that thematically down the line. But yeah, that's Donny Cates. Hopefully, so summer. So maybe I guess I'll line up maybe a San Diego Comic-Con announcement, possibly around
Probably.
then.
Yeah. Like,
what is that? July?
Late July, early August, usually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad.
see it. Last Young Renegade says, if Cates goes to DC, which book would you put him on? What do we got, boys?
It's a tough one. Flash.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Something different.
Okay.
I don't hate that.
Something
Yeah.
different. But I feel like people like to put their own little bookend on Flash. I love him on Daredevil, but that's not DC.
I could see, just based off of crossover, like some kind of teen book, but like an ancillary teen book.
Like an all-winner squad? How ancillary are we talking?
Well,
You know what? I would pick that up.
maybe like a Justice League Dark.
Oh, yeah. Justice League Dawn? Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more Donny Cates stuff.
What have you read of
He's
his?
Not much.
Thanos? Venom?
I know he did those. I think
Yeah.
we read bits and pieces of King in Black when it was coming out. I was in New Zealand then. That was decades ago. But also his early Image book, the one about Texas.
God Country.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Yeah, that's the one where he kind of got his fame from. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read any. There's nothing that's been crazy interesting to me from him.
Look at Joe here. Donny Cates is the reason I'm a Wednesday Warrior. His Thor trade paperback volume 1 made me stop trade rating and run to the local comic book store. His Thor run's fun. His Thor run and his Doctor Strange run. I think his Doctor Strange run is underrated. That was directly after Jason Aaron's run. Real fun stuff. I think it was
Jason Aaron was the like the magic stops and all that.
Bacalo, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Bacalo
Okay, yeah,
art,
yeah.
Something tells me Walta was on Donny Cates' run with him. Gabriel Hernandez Walta.
I remember.
It dealt with Loki trying to take the Sorcerer Supreme away from him.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Some fun stuff there. Marco, did you get sliced by your cat? I saw you wince. I was like, I know what that's like. The culprit. He has no idea. He has no idea that
He ain't kissing
hundreds
that
of people
cat.
will see him. Well, we'll end on that cat note then.
And the listeners.
Yeah. Wait, what about the listeners?
We got more shout outs.
We got more Patreon shout
I thought you said
homie.
you said end the listeners. I'm like, that sounds rude. I'm not doing that.
No.
And they pay us. We can't end
Yeah.
them.
Can't end them. Before we say goodbye, we'd like to say thank you to the rest of our patrons here, and these are the patrons who are in our Pals-verse tier. They support us, they show up for us. We appreciate you guys so much. That's patreon.com/thecomicspals if you want your own name and superhero origin. Running down the list, we got the Grand Alchemist, Chop Harder Alchemist, who I saw earlier. I don't know if it's still in the chat. John Barrier B, Doomsday David Melendez Doria, Steve Swarm Canaris, who's in the chat, Panda V Panda, Ted Wong, Mad Max the Absolute Thinker, who I also believe I saw earlier in the chat, Blur Jose, Kobe the Crafter, Scripted the Warden of the Words, who is in the chat, Hecatron the Hate Machine, Amin Almighty Perez, Houston Murphy, hey Sean, the Century Cowboy. Okay? He forgot the name last week.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, we have them written down now officially. Now that
Yeah. And new addition, Jasper the Gasper Eddie, who Sean did the origin for last week. And pending origins are Electrics and Lucas Hallner. We will be getting to those. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. And thank you to everybody who is a Patreon member.
It'd be kind of funny if we gave Electrics non-electricity based powers. This guy's
Yeah,
power
it's like-
is rubber.
Electrics, he can absorb.
Yeah. Oh, he's grounded. He's grounded.
There it is.
Yeah. So thank you.
Fish.
Thank you, patrons. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, people who are in the live chat. Thank you, people who are going to be part of the rewind. What replay crew? Is that what you guys call yourselves?
Yeah, replay.
Yeah. Shout out replay crew. Join us on Discord if you want to continue this conversation.
If you're only watching the show, you're only getting half the conversation.
Less than half.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conversation going on the Discord. I can't keep up.
So much stuff.
You know what? I'll say it. Maybe too much.
You're on it all the time, though. You're like, oh. I see Cale showing up. Boomer
I'm
shows
having
up
trouble.
every so often.
I'm having trouble keeping up.
You had to put a hat on just to keep your thoughts together.
Oh,
That's why we all have hats on today.
we had to, yeah, keep
Keep
it
all
all
those
in line.
brainwaves in. Yeah.
Tektronic says, I was gonna say I'm definitely getting an origin. I'm black IRL. Just don't give me lightning powers. Ask and you shall receive.
And just for that,
Yeah, we're gonna switch you with Electrix's non.
Would you
electric
like
powers.
to have black in front of your name? Or
Hectronics, also known as codename ACDC.
all right, guys. We'll see you on Monday. Check us out in Pals Previews, talking about the next books coming out, which we will be recording soon. Not to show you how the sausage is made.
Hat crew.
And then we'll see you on Thursday for Pals Polls. Maybe a special guest this week.
I don't remember. Ooh, yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Sounds right.
There's a little
I
hint.
vaguely recall someone.
Confirming.
maybe.
I think.
Just saying.
I think we're confirming.
We're
Show up.
confirming. Okay. Yeah. You might.
Find
something might happen. Something might happen.
Hey, listen, it's a Comics Pals broadcast. Something's gonna happen.
Something's happening. Yeah. And thanks for bearing with us in this different iteration today.
Hey, what do you mean?
What's different about it?
Tremendous show.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
A little less melanin, maybe.
Well,
I mean, Marco's got plenty.
yeah, nothing we can do about that.
It's true. It's true.